Hello and welcome to the Super Basement Bro Show. My name is Connor and I'm joined by my co-hosts Tanner and Hasten.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back after E3. It's been a little bit and it's been pretty, I'd say, quiet in terms of video game news lately. The calm after the storm after
I mean, you had
E3.
that wonderful EA presentation.
We did have we got Dead Space remake, which is kind of cool. Other than that, I don't think there was too much to get too
Skate
excited
said
about.
that it's coming eventually.
Yeah, one day. But yeah, so kind of a quiet month or two since E3. So we decided we're going to do a tier time episode focused on Pixar, where we are going to do the entire Pixar catalog from the Toy Story all the way till Luca, and we're going to kind of rank them and put them into different categories on tier time. If you've seen any of our other tier time episodes, you kind of have an idea of how we do it and whatnot.
You'll
We kind of
figure
make
it
our
out.
own. Yeah, we kind of make our own categories and rules. But let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. This is going to be a really tough thing to do, I think. If you guys like Pixar like I do, I'm sure there's a lot of movies that you think are probably in the upper echelon in terms of quality for Pixar. But Hazen's sharing the
Yeah.
screen with us here. And just right off the bat, like just looking at those posters, there's so many on there that I think are in the upper levels, in my opinion.
Yeah. How should we start this thing?
Well,
Should we just go by release date?
I think we should go by release date. We'll start with the oldest to newest, but should we reenact our old rule of maybe we should change S tier to God tier, or should we make a category for triple S God tier like we do on all of our others?
Triple S. And then it's only one of us can put something
We
in
only
there.
get one each.
One total for triple S God tier.
I think one each. So like, I get one that I can pick. Tanner gets one he can pick, and then Hasten.
I would change the ratings too because Pixar movies don't really become bad.
Yeah,
the lowest.
I don't think we'll have any D.
Maybe put D as okay.
We might.
Maybe
I mean,
even Good Dinosaur. Okay.
yeah,
I've never seen it, but
honestly,
Yeah.
I honestly think we should maybe get rid of D. Like, I can't think of one that would go that low. So we just have triple
tiers.
S, A, B, C. I think that's pretty reasonable,
Yeah.
honestly, because then we know we'll have 3 in the triple S God tier, and then a lot of
That
them are
lets
going
us
to be
think
A's.
about them a little more instead of just throwing them in
Yeah,
a certain spot.
yeah, I think this will make it more interesting this way. I agree, because there wouldn't have been any D's.
I mean, maybe the Monsters University, right? I mean,
No, I don't think
No
so.
way.
really? I think you guys are being a little too friendly with
No,
this. Like,
no,
we can't even put
see, that's the thing.
Tier.
So we'll
Okay,
find
we're
out.
gonna-
Well,
we're gonna have to-
and as we have established before, it's if the majority goes to where it goes. So if it's 2 against 1, that's where it'll go. But if we all vote differently, it goes to the middle one, right? So if Hazen thinks one's an A, I think it's a B, and Tanner thinks it's a C, it'll go to the B.
Yeah. And then we all get to choose one that's God tier. Like we have
Yeah.
one veto to God tier, something that we want. Okay.
Yep. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off right away with the very first Pixar movie released in 1994, which is crazy. Toy Story. 1995. My bad.
I thought it
1995.
was Bug's Life. That's crazy.
Yeah, no.
Original Toy Story.
Original Toy Story was the first like CG 3D animated movie like of all time,
That's
if I'm not
crazy.
mistaken. And it was Toy Story 1995.
Man, all
So
the Toy Stories
year
are
before
hard.
you were born, Hazen.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching Toy Story every year.
Same.
Like every couple years at least. So
Honestly, it's one of those things where like the Toy Story quadrilogy, I guess you could call it. Those are pretty tough to beat. Those are really good movies.
Yeah.
Where are we gonna put the first one though? Where do you guys think for the first Toy Story movie?
I think Toy Story 1's a great movie. It was the first Pixar movie ever. The graphics have not been kind since. I think if like visually it's still impressive that it's a 3D movie, but rewatching it, it's definitely not stood the test of time, that's for sure. I think the story's good.
Yeah.
I think the story's good, but I think Toy Story only got better from there. I think all the Toy Stories after that have a better story than the first one. I do think the first one has a great idea, but it's before Disney owned them. They weren't as big of a company yet. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's
I think we
God
need more.
tier,
First of all, I
A
think
tier.
we need more than 3 tiers, 4 tiers.
No, I think
Because
this
it's
is
hard.
It's super hard because here's the thing though is like I'm gonna spoil my Toy Story thoughts right up front here and kind of give you my rankings. I honestly think I love all the Toy Story movies. I think they're all amazing. It's like comparing, the best
your kids.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's like which kid is your favorite? They're all great. I think Toy Story 2 though, in my opinion, would be the lowest.
Actually,
mine would go 3, 1, 4, 2.
I think I'm the same as you, Hasten. Except for I think it goes 3, 4, 1, 2.
I see. I used to think that, but I recently watched Toy Story 2, and I forget that it's a really good. Like
it's great.
Like I think it's actually better than the first one.
Maybe all of the Toy Story. I don't know how we're supposed to do Toy Story.
Maybe
there's 4 movies.
It would be an interesting twist to make this harder for us even, is if sequels have to go in different categories.
That'd be impossible. Because that means one Toy Story would have to be God tier.
Okay, well, yeah, that's true. Well, what if we say I don't know, because I'm just thinking it's like, because honestly, I think all the Toy Stories would go A tier.
I mean, let's
should we
see
get our God tiers out of the way, maybe?
Well, real fast, one wrinkle I was just going to bring up that I think might be interesting is what if, so as we put them into their corresponding tiers, I think we should actually rank them as well. So it's like the first one in God tier is literally what we vote is the number 1 best Pixar movie.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the 24th or 25th film will be technically the worst Pixar movie. Just to make it even more, because like the thing is I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, so many of these movies are going to be A tier, like at least for me. I'm like, I look at most of these movies and I'm like, those are
but I think that's why it's good to have so little options, only 4 tiers, because then we kind of have to decide, because we could put a limit. How many movies are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
I think
24.
there's 24.
24.
Yeah,
we could make it to where we can only have 6 in each, right? 6, 12.
Oh, 6 per category.
18, 20.
Could do something like that.
Let's
maybe. I think having the list.
Honestly, I think it might get easier once we get Toy Story out of the way.
I don't
maybe
know.
I don't know.
There's some if I'm honest, like if I want to be honest, like I'd say getting Toy Story out of the way. I love Toy Story, but I'd say the best one is the third one, and I think the rest of them are kind of just like A or B.
Okay, let's say
this is so
where
hard.
would you put Toy Story 1 between all of these?
See, I think it's an A tier.
B.
I would go B.
Really? You guys don't think it's A?
But I mean, compared to every other Pixar movie. I mean,
if we're ranking this list, and because there's 6 other movies I would put above it at least.
Because like you said,
6 or 7 at least.
Pixar movies are the best of the best. Yeah. So it's so hard to put some low, but you kind of do.
This is why it's so tough, because like with the Toy Story movies, I think they would all go in A tier for me at least. But yeah, I mean, I guess it can go B if that's what the
I mean, at this point too, I do think that Toy Story as a property is still huge for Pixar, but they've got so many more properties now that are just as equally as famous. I just don't know if like Toy Story is their big one now anymore.
I think it's their
tough.
Biggest for sure. Still,
because like you look at like Toy Story 4.
You know what I mean? That's huge for them.
Well, like Toy Story 4 came out 2 years ago, and it did okay. Like it did as good.
It did really good. But the thing is like honestly, from what I've heard, I think Cars, in terms of like merchandising sales, is also their number one. Because think about all the merchandise for Cars, like the toy cars that like our younger siblings would collect. Everywhere. And stuff. They're everywhere, and they have a whole land for it in Disneyland. Like Cars, I think arguably might be their biggest in terms of financial success. I'm not saying they're most popular, or even best, but just financial success. I think that one might be up there.
I think we should preface too, like Connor said at the beginning, we kind of have to be harsh on some of these
Yeah.
movies because they're amazing.
Mhm.
Because looking at the list, I'm like, Toy
Here's
Story.
what I
I want it
think's gonna
known.
be best.
I want it known right up front.
Here's what I think's gonna be best. No,
we
here's
love
what,
these
no,
movies.
Is let's do it by the time like we're doing right now correctly.
Mhm.
But at any point you can pull out your triple S God tier and use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I say
Well,
you
yeah, it's
have
like
to
a
use
veto.
it.
then it's going
I
to
say
be
you have
interesting
to
because
save
I
it
think we're all
for-
going to have different triple S God
Well,
tiers.
that way, like,
Save
if we're
your
talking
triple S
about
God
our
tier
God tier,
for
then
when
you
we
can
get
kind
to
of
it.
veto.
Yeah.
Like, let's say everybody
Yeah.
else is voting, and then I'm like,
Mhm.
nah, that's my God tier. It's
That's
like,
God
it
tier,
has to go up
Yeah.
there. Boom.
Yeah. So save it until we get to that movie.
Yeah.
And then I'll also say, yeah, I want it known right up front. I think literally every movie on this list I love. I think there's one or two that are like I think are okay.
But even still, there's not one
even
of
those
these
are
movies that I wouldn't recommend watching.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, all of these are
Except for
worth
The Good
owning,
Dinosaur.
watching, even rewatching.
It's still a good movie. I know,
Yeah, it's as far as Pixar goes, it's probably a mediocre Disney, kind of bad for Pixar. Other than that, like, still Pixar, still great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on.
What's
Let's move to the next one. Bugs
Bugs
Life. 1998. So 3 years later was the next Pixar movie. Now we kind of get a Pixar movie almost every year, sometimes twice a year. So an interesting time in the late 90s when there was a 3-year gap between Toy Story and Bugs Life. But
I actually really loved Bugs Life. I just don't think it's aged well. Just kind of like the Toy Story issue.
Yeah.
But like Flick and like they have so many characters that are memorable in that show.
Well, and like I think my problem with Bugs Life is Bugs Life's great, but the idea that they've done with Bugs Life, it's tough to be a bug. They've done that with every other Pixar movie since. It's tough to be a monster. It's tough to be a fish. It's tough to be, a car. I don't know, like, that whole spiel of like, oh, it's hard to be a bug. It's like, it's not. It's missing
Well, I get what
the
you're
Pixar emotion. Like,
Yeah,
it's more of
well-
like a Disney animated movie. Like, those are great, but for the most part, sometimes they can hit the emotional. Like, Pixar is known for being very story heavy and writing heavy and emotionally heavy, but like Bugs Life, I don't think of it as that way.
I totally get what you're saying because like I think Bugs Life is a great movie, but it does lack that especially modern Pixar. When we think of modern Pixar, we think of like there is a demanding emotional theme that is going to hit you hard in this movie. Whereas I think Bugs Life was still in that early phase of Pixar where it's like there wasn't necessarily
you're still trying out things.
Yeah, it's like there wasn't necessarily like a demanding like obvious theme. Like even right now, I don't think I could remember what the theme of Bugs Life was.
Well, it was kind of like classic Disney. That's what I mean is like it's kind of like a Disney animated movie.
It was like this guy sucks.
Yeah,
but then
underdog.
he ends up saving everything.
Like, Flick is an underdog.
Flick ends up saving everyone.
He's the one that's bullied, and then he ends up getting like it's classic Disney animated movie. Not that those are bad, but for the most part, they're not very original.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if somebody was to tell me that Bugs Life was not Pixar, I wouldn't question it. I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like it seems like a DreamWorks.
It's such a weird thing because if you guys remember, there was Bugs Life that came out, and then that weird movie Ants that came out,
like
which was I believe Woody Allen directed it, which is so strange. But that movie, I remember watching as a kid, and being like so weirded out by it.
It had like the Shrek animation,
like the really gross look, kind of
over really realistic, like 6-pack ants.
It looked really weird. I remember always like kind of associating that with Bugs Life.
Oh yeah,
even though they're completely different, they're just bugs. But
well, I mean, looking at Pixar, this was when sequels were hot on their trails. Like they made a movie, it was like they were always thinking about sequels. And the fact that watching these documentaries just barely about Pixar, that they could just never get a Bugs Life 2 off the ground. They just couldn't find a story. Even Pixar didn't fully believe in Bugs Life, you know? So I think for me, I'd place Bugs Life at a C. As awful as
I would put it as a B with Toy Story.
It's definitely
so
not as good as Toy Story.
Me suck, dude. And this is where it's hard.
Let's be honest though. Like we put Toy Story at B. It is not as good as Toy Story.
I agree, but the thing is like this is where it's tough because I would
just
put Toy Story
it holds a place. It holds a place for me. Toy Story holds a place for me though.
Or
Bugs Life also. I mean, Bugs Life also holds a place though.
Yeah,
Because like
grew
I
up
had
with
that on.
C.
I had that on VHS. So like
Mhm.
I was like literally watching that as a kid, along with Toy Story.
That's
Toy
why I think
Story
that we need to
and Bugs
change.
Life. The posters are very nostalgic to me. I
Yeah.
remember seeing those a lot, like the cover art.
Yeah, that's why I think we need to change it from being A, B, and C to Latin words, because we need to remember C means good. C does not mean bad. It actually means good.
That's good.
I think Bugs Life is
yeah,
good.
Hasten, maybe put in parentheses next to a letter like C, good, B, great, A, amazing.
And then S is God tier. Like there's
And then,
nothing that compares yet.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Tanner. Because yeah, it's like it's similar to like when you look at like the IGN or video game scale of like
when
they put a
rate.
score and it's like, oh, it got a 7. It must not be good, but it's like no, 7's
Still good.
It's so good. Like, yeah, that's a good point. Also, Hasten, if it's possible, if you can somehow like zoom in a little on the on your screen, I think if you hold like Command and then the plus sign, you can kind of zoom in on there.
Amazing.
But
terrible.
I was also gonna say, for me, the best thing to come out of Bugs Life is it's tough to be a bug theater in Disney, and just and Bugs Land in general.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad that it's gone. Wow, we're really down. Oh man, I just got a notification we're down to 10 minutes, but that came by so fast.
Oh frick. Okay, we gotta remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. Bugs Life. I love the land. I did, and now it's gone. I especially just loved It's Tough to Be a Bug and Heimlich's Choo Choo Train because I liked the smells and stuff. But
I'm setting a timer for 8 minutes, so we know.
I have a I have a timer on here.
Yeah, that's kind of done for me. I'm gonna go with C because I think it's I do think it's great. No, I mean it's tough because if the scales were different, if Toy Story was up in the amazing,
I think it's great. As B says, great.
Yeah, it's good. It's tough. I do think.
Well,
it's great,
okay. If somebody came up to you and they're like, "What should I watch? Toy Story or Bugs Life?" What would you say?
Yeah, I don't know. It's we'll put it in C. I'm gonna say C because I do think I would put it maybe in a category above that, but because Toy Story is in the B category, I don't think it's on the same level.
Yeah,
I would have put Toy Story higher, and so therefore I would have had Bugs Life at B. But
Hasten, get rid of your download bar.
Where?
At the bottom, you could where it says Show All. Bottom right of your screen. You just press the X. Nope. Oh, you're good. Okay, now it's
nice.
zoomed out less. Okay.
Sweet.
So we can, yeah, there you go.
All right, next one on the list then. Now that we did Bugs Life, we have Toy Story 2, 1999. So the next year we get the sequel to Toy Story. Where we put
I think we C.
I think B.
I think definitely B.
Yeah.
Like I said before, how I feel previously, like Toy Story 2 is better than Toy Story 1 in my opinion. But
I don't even remember what happens in 2.
Easily as good.
So we've established it's B.
Like I think you're confusing 2 and 1 because 1 was Sid. Number 2 is about Woody, Jesse,
and
Bullseye, the miner, the big fat guy who's the chicken man.
The chicken man
steals Woody and
the whole thing. Like I remember all of Toy Story, but I can't remember which ones exactly in which.
Because I feel that way about Toy Story 1. I tend to forget Toy Story 1 and I rewatch it and I'm like, dang, there's a lot of like just empty space in this movie.
I'm fine with B.
So, yeah, we'll put it B, but now we have to decide the order. Is it above Toy Story 1 or no? I say no.
I mean, ultimately, it's not. You guys already said no, so because I'd say yes.
So, Hasten, you think Toy Story 1's better or 2?
Probably 1. Just the connection with Buzz and Woody in that one.
Sweet. Well, we got it then. All right, moving on to our next movie. We got Monsters, Inc., 2001. This one's super nostalgic for me.
This one's
personally.
Hard.
I love Monsters, Inc.
This one...
go A. Honestly.
I'd go A. Easily A.
It's easily an A for me. And honestly, I'm questioning if I want to use my triple S God tier.
For Monsters, Inc.
Monsters, Inc. is amazing.
It is good.
And it has an amazing story, too. Like the
Monsters,
emotional
Inc.
attachment to Boo and, yeah.
So I collect movie tickets, and Monsters Inc. My mom found my original Monsters Inc. ticket for in the theater when I saw it, and it's so cool because that was probably the first Pixar movie I saw in theaters. Now that I think about it, because I probably saw the other ones just on VHS.
I think out of all the Pixar movies, Monsters Inc. is the most nostalgic for me. Like, it's the
agree.
one I remember the most as a kid.
Mm-hmm. And Randall's an incredible villain. It's easily we might be revisiting that later on. I might throw out my Triple S gods here. We'll see. Sweet. That was easy.
Yeah.
Now we got moving to
Incredibles.
Finding Nemo 2003.
Okay.
Ooh,
Is
that was
the
a
next
good
one
one
on the
too.
list.
I would say B. I love Finding Nemo. I love Nemo, and
I gotta go A.
Comparing it to its sequel, I like it better than Dory. I do love it, but I don't know. Like
that's true. B. Actually, I would say Finding Nemo's an A.
It's an A for me, I think.
I don't know. I'd say B. I mean, it's ultimately A because you guys decided. But
it is weird because
because I feel like
this list, I like Toy Story and Toy Story 2 better than Nemo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
But I also think Nemo is an A.
So what?
This is so hard.
I like Finding Nemo, the original Finding Nemo, better than both of those Toy Stories. Personally.
Okay.
So
should we? Toy Story 1, should it be a B?
I think it should
be
an
A. I mean A.
I think it should be an A.
Sorry. Yeah. Toy Story 1.
I said B.
You two said B. I said A.
I'm willing to move Toy Story 1 to an A.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Because looking at this list, I can't see Toy Story's below.
That looks good. Yeah.
That looks way better.
That looks way better. Okay. And I think right there that
the
setup you did is perfect. Yeah. Monsters Inc., then Toy Story, then Nemo. Because
I just couldn't see. Yeah, Nemo's great, but it's not that much better than Toy Story. It's on the same level at least.
Yeah, and the thing is honestly, I think our list is looking good so far. But if you asked me what I'd rather watch right now, Toy Story 2 or Nemo, I'd probably pick Toy Story 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd actually pick Nemo. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Nemo, oh my gosh, Nemo is so good. The opening song with the piano,
sad.
The dun dun dun, dun, dun,
and he finds Nemo still there.
Oh, dude.
It's actually really sad.
Nemo's amazing. Yeah.
Plus, it's got some really funny parts that I forgot about.
Yeah.
Like the whole
the high
and the
turtle?
dentist. The main
yeah. And then the mine, of course. Mine. Yeah. I also love Willem Dafoe as what's his name?
Is he the dentist?
No.
Oh, the Scar guy. Yeah.
Scar guy. Yeah, the leader
Finn,
of the corner. It's something like that. But
Flipper?
He's awesome.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, Nemo is a great movie. There's so many great characters too. You got Crush, the sea turtle.
Yeah,
dude.
Even Marlin, freaking awesome.
Marlin's great.
Dory's way better in Nemo than she is in actually Dory. Which is
because she's more of a side character.
She's
it's similar to what they did with like Mater in Cars 2, how he became the main character. It's like he should be a side character.
Well, because like what they tend to do is like they took the most annoying part of their character and they amplified it. Like,
and then they
Dory just became way more of Ellen. It's like she was less of a Disney character.
And they make him just like the main character, which it's too much. It becomes too much. And then they become a character of themselves, which is similar to what happened kind of with like Jack Sparrow in the later parts of Caribbean.
Even though I did like Finding Dory. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Cool. Well, we got Nemo down. Let's move on to our next
one.
The Incredibles 2004.
This is hard for me not to look at it.
yeah, easy. That's not a question. Honestly,
we're gonna do this.
Now we have to decide where it's gonna go.
I'd say there, right where Hasten.
Yeah, I think Hasten nailed it. Yeah,
this one's mine that I might revisit. To God tier.
As a triple.
I'm glad you said that because that's one I really like too. But I have another one that I'm targeting.
Yeah,
so.
Dude, Incredibles is so good, dude. Yeah. Syndrome, the villain, I freaking love it.
Oh my gosh!
And I love how they ended it with like, "There's gonna be a 2," and then the 2 doesn't come out.
10 years, like 15 years.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, one of the coolest scenes ever is when it's a meme now, but like when Mr. Incredible's on the computer and he's seeing that Syndrome took out all the superheroes and it's like like crossing them all out and he's like all sad and the music is so epic. It's so cool.
Yeah. Oh, the meme where he looks up and he's like, please stop. Please effing stop. Yeah. It's such a good meme.
A good movie's good memes, tons of memes that
Tons
come
of
from it.
memes
And
go-
Incredibles
yeah.
always has memes.
Incredibles is so good, dude. And Frozone, we can't forget freaking Frozone.
Yeah,
One of my favorite characters.
Where's my
of all
super
time.
suit?
Where's my super suit? Such a great line. Now we can move on to the next film, which I'm actually surprised this was the next one. Cars, 2006.
Wow.
2
Big
years
jump,
after The Incredibles.
As far as visuals, I think they definitely upgraded from Incredibles to Cars.
Yeah. I think
Cars
Cars is
looks
one of the
really good.
Cars is one of the first ones where when it comes out, I do think there was like a jump in visual quality.
I think ultimately it came down to like the lighting, because look at Cars. Like
Yeah.
I think of the scene when they're in Radiator Springs and it's dark, and the lights are reflecting off of the cars. You know, lights could be a dream. Lights and like
Life
the
could be a
reflections are so good compared to like all the old Pixar movies.
Well, and
They
there's so
didn't
much
have that.
color too in that
Yeah.
movie. So
Yeah, Cars is great. Honestly, I really like Cars. I know
Cars
it's
1 is
weird.
my favorite out of the Cars movies.
Yep.
it is
Same.
mine too.
I
So-
think it's weird because I've noticed when I was looking at other people's tier lists, Cars is usually on the lower end, like all the Cars movies. And
Really?
I don't really.
I mean,
get
all
it.
the Cars movies after 1 would be lower for me. But
Yeah.
I love
I
the
agree.
Cars movies, but it kind of like hit as I was becoming more of a teenager. So I think like it wasn't as like much of a
when you were
kid connection.
6.
Oh wait, maybe I'm thinking of the other Cars.
The
feel
other
like-
but
Cars
no,
ones
I
maybe,
agree with you.
but-
Maybe
I know what you
like
mean
after
though.
Cars 1 at least, because I don't remember Cars 1 coming out, but like Cars 2, like I feel
Yeah.
like the rest of Cars movies came out and I was already like,
I actually know what you mean though, Terry. Like because when
Less
Cars
of a, like, a
came out,
kid
it was when
connection.
I wasn't a kid really anymore.
'Cause I
Like,
feel like
was
our-
a kid, but
I feel like our
had
younger
more-
cousins and siblings were more connected to like the
Exactly.
Cars universe.
Yeah. In fact, the first time I remember watching Cars outside of the theater, I think, was with Haley and Eric
Yep.
at their house.
Because like
Like
James
in their
was
old
obsessed
house.
with
We had
the
a sleepover
Cars.
there, and
Yeah.
Hasten was there too. We watched Cars, yeah, and James was obsessed with it. Parker was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
But
Because it
I
didn't
really
have
like
as
it.
much of like the childhood connection that like Incredibles, Monsters Inc., Toy Story
Yep.
had.
Yeah, it's actually funny that there is that 2-year gap between Incredibles and Cars because I really do feel it. Like I feel like that now we are in like a new era of
Yeah.
of Pixar. You know,
Mhm.
like the second era. Those
Yep.
first ones, all these ones we have ranked right now was the first era of Pixar. And now we're going into a new era.
For sure.
And there's a third era too, which is kind of funny.
yeah. I'm gonna say an A. I think it's an A.
Cars
I think it's
1,
an
yeah.
A,
Cars
it's just hard to place it.
I think it's last. I think
Last,
it's behind Nemo.
yeah, behind everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe,
for me.
yeah, it's
I
close.
would put it above Finding Nemo, I think. But
I could make an argument for that. I mean, I can see it.
I would put
I'm
it
not
above
against
Nemo.
it.
I would go like this.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
looks
against
good to
it.
me.
That's
Yeah.
fine to me.
We're getting a
yeah.
lot of A's.
Because I
Yeah.
do think that's how it's gonna be, dude. I tell you, we're gonna have such a hard time putting anything below that.
Yeah.
That's why it's good we got rid of D, because nothing would be in D.
Nothing was
There's
gonna be on
nothing,
there,
like not
yeah.
one.
Yep.
'Cause D would be considered meh, which
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that's meh. Well, I
Yeah.
just-
Honestly, I think this list
blurry.
is looking good for me so far, for the most part. So,
Why am I blurry all
Um,
of a sudden?
what'd you say?
Blurry all of a sudden.
Hold
you
your
are?
hand up to your camera really close.
Oh yeah, just give it a little wave. And with that, let's move on to the next movie in the Pixar franchise. We got
Oh, yeah.
Ratatouille, 2007.
Ooh.
Ratatouille.
Or they're definitely
Cars.
starting to get into like a. It seems like things are changing. Like the
This
movies
is
are.
when I think Pixar became the Pixar as we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of like the emotional and very distinct themes in their movies.
Well, that's because
I think
Disney
this is
bought
when
them.
we hit it.
Disney bought them
Yeah,
right
well, yeah.
after Incredibles or Monsters
It
Inc.
was around that time, yeah. I mean, all
So-
these were Disney, but yeah, when they
Yeah.
officially bought them out.
Because like their contract was ending and Michael Eisner was a jerk, and then Bob Iger came in and bought them. So
Smart
that's why
move,
they got
smart
so
move.
much better.
Yeah,
I would
But-
go A. I have to go A with Ratatouille, personally.
Ratatouille's really good.
it
I'd
is
say
really
A
good.
easily, but I don't know where on A.
I do think it's an A, but I think it's last in A for me. Only because here's the thing: I know there's so many diehard Ratatouille fans. I've seen a lot of people have Ratatouille at the top of their list, like the best Pixar movie. And
It's
I
I
do
definitely
think
wouldn't say it's my
I,
favorite.
I do think it's great, but I just don't have the same nostalgia for it as a lot of these other movies. I think that's the biggest thing for me is I think it's a great movie, but the nostalgia isn't there for me like it is with Monsters Inc. or something like that. So for me, it would be the bottom of A so far.
I'd put it above Nemo
That's actually where I was thinking too.
because I think ultimately I like it better than Nemo for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
I don't have much else to say about Ratatouille. I kind of agree with what you said. Like, I like it, but there are people that freaking love Ratatouille. And
I remember seeing Ratatouille in theaters. Do you remember, Tanner, going to see this? And
way long ago.
It was so long ago, and I remember there's an opening scene or something where doesn't he get like abducted? Some weird thing, or was this like a trailer? Am I misremembering this?
No, I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Remy
if it's
or
from
not
it.
Remy. The
like a
main
short
guy
before.
in Ratatouille gets
like
abducted or something like
it's like
that.
a short with like a joke or something. Maybe it was like a short before where he like looks out his window.
Yeah,
and there's like the abducting. I don't remember.
It's like this weird memory I have, and I question sometimes if it was real or not.
It's definitely real because I remember it, but I don't think it was in Ratatouille. It might.
I didn't think it was. Yeah,
beforehand or something. I'm not sure.
No, the music of Ratatouille is really good too.
Yeah,
I like the French music.
Next up is Wally, right?
I believe you're right. Yeah, 2008, Wally.
This might be my triple S. I love Wally.
Okay.
Wally is
because
really
Wally.
good.
If I was gonna say, if neither of you guys put this in triple S tier, I'm gonna use it for my triple S tier.
Well, so here's the Wally thing. Is easily probably if it's not God tier, it's above everything.
Wally is easily an A for me, but this is once again where we get into the tough part because you have to kill your darlings in this whole thing, which I know we've already talked about. And I look at most of these movies in A, and I just have more nostalgia for them. I love Wally, but it would probably go like middle of A tier, like behind Toy Story for
me. I'd put it either. I might put it like right there. I feel like that's where I'd want it, like right in between Incredibles and Toy Story. If not, I might use my God tier because it's so good. The thing is Monsters Inc. and Incredibles are also so good.
I'm gonna use my triple S tier, and I'm gonna.
Wow.
Okay.
I think it's seriously, it's my favorite.
It's decided then. There we go. We don't have to make the decision.
I will agree. I used to not care for Wally when I was young, like when I was really young. But until I got older, I rewatched Wally. I was like, dang, it is so.
It is a good movie.
It's so good
as far as story and everything.
It has that futuristic element too, which I love, and it has like what's it called when like the world's broken or something like apocalyptic kind of thing. It's the only Pixar movie like that, really.
Well, I think like as far as the message and the story, it has easily one of the best.
Yeah,
and it's much more like
so. What's the word? Like important to now times.
Yeah,
like relevant. It's relevant to now, like
for sure,
to this day. And honestly, Wally's one of those movies that'll be relevant for the next 100 years or longer. You know, like
you guys can talk for a second. I want to grab a pop figure I have that's really cool.
That's one of my favorite pop figures.
Is it the one that's the green one?
It's the
like made out of recycled trash or something?
Yeah, it's made out of recycled material.
Yeah.
Super.
I'm actually surprised too because I feel like Wally doesn't give enough credit as a great movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't hear people ever talk about Wally.
Well, I was actually going to say that this sounds like one of those pretentious like film things to kind of say, but Wally is one of those movies that I think it's like it falls into that pure art kind of category.
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's like a lot of these
it's a beautiful
movies,
film.
Like a lot of these movies you can look at and they're entertainment. It's like these are
like
amazing, great entertainment movies.
Yeah.
But like Wally, it's like it. In my opinion, it could have been nominated for like Best Picture at the Academy Awards that year and stood with the others. Like it's one of those like artistic movies that I think has a really good message. It looks great, and I can respect Tayson throwing it in the triple S God tier.
And especially to have the audacity to make your main character basically a mute.
Yeah,
I mean Wally doesn't talk.
There's really not that much dialogue in it in general, besides the captain of the ship.
You immediately latch on to Wally, like immediately as this non-living robot with barely any words. You immediately are like, so attached. He's so emotional, and just like the expressions and stuff, it's crazy.
Oh, and the music is so great too. The freaking one with Condor Man, the song he's singing, that put on your Sunday shoes. There's a world out there.
Put it in front of your face, Jason. That way it can.
There you go. Yeah,
but it's the Earth Day exclusive from Box Lunch, and the box is like 100%
cardboard
recycled, or it's like 20% or 80% recycled for the box, and then 20% for the figure. But it's just like an awesome figure. And then they have the next year they did Eve with it.
Oh, I didn't know they did Eve.
Yeah, that's cool. The following year they did Eve. So
that's sick.
But they're both holding like the flower shoe. So
that's way cool. I didn't know they did that.
I mean, that's the best. That's such a cool idea to do with those figures. I mean, that's
make them recyclable. Yeah, and that's one thing that I love. The symbolism of Wally, I think, is better than a lot of movies in general. Like with the plant, the symbolism of that all, and then
like there's a couple, like what you said about artful. Like I think there's a couple Pixar movies that are 100% that way. Like Wally, Soul, Inside Out. Those are the ones that are like art. Like you could look at those movies and think these are beautiful as the human
condition.
Human condition. Like if an alien came and I was like, watch
this is
movies.
What it's this like to be what
human. Humans, like exactly, for sure.
Yeah, agreed. Great triple S tier, Hasten. I'm fine with that.
I swear I remember, for some reason, this probably isn't true, maybe I'm just making up in my mind, but we talked about Wally once, and you guys were just like, I don't like it, like it's not a very good movie.
I will say,
like, I hate you guys.
I will say I kind of fall into the same category of Tanner in the sense that, like, when I first saw it as a kid, I didn't like it as much, and I think that happens probably with a lot of kids that watch it. It's artsy. It really is like very artsy for a movie, an animated movie.
It has a weird like suspense, like thriller to it in a weird way where like you almost watch it as a kid and it almost is like scary.
Yeah.
Like because in a lot of the parts they have real humans.
Yeah,
on the videos, like the president and stuff, and it
seems kind of like super weird. It's
kind of like eerie to a kid. I remember like the first couple of times I watched it, I was like, I don't like Wally. It's scary. It's weird. Like, But now that as an adult, like you realize it's freaking amazing. Like those things that make it so scary and eerie as a kid is what makes it so great.
Well, and you get like the robot, like from 2001: A Space Odyssey, similar, like I can't do that, Dave, like telling the captain he can't do it, and like the robot's kind of taking over that way on the ship.
Well, and even visually, visually, it's very weird because it reminds me of Soul in a way where like Soul tries to look very real.
Yeah,
but the characters are the most cartoony part, because like in Wally, the world looks real, but the characters are cartoony. Yeah, Soul is like the same way, and I think that's what gives it such like an edge,
like a raw
like
feeling.
It feels like cool, and I think as a kid, because I definitely did not care for Wally as a kid.
Well, and there's such a good contrast too, where it's like when the movie starts. I remember, I think it was like the start of the movie as a kid that maybe threw me off because it's very dull and drab, the color scheme, because it's apocalyptic, right? He's living on this brownish planet, and it's
like
it doesn't look pretty. Yeah, and then when he goes to space, that's when all the colors come in, and you have the
galaxy
awesome
dust, and
where he's flying in the galaxy dust with Eva, right?
And he's like lifting his hand
up. Like that's a great scene. Eve, yeah. Anyway, we'll unless you guys have more to say on Wally, or should we move on?
I could talk about it forever. I love Wally.
Yeah, great movie. All right, now we are on Up 2009. Yeah, this is definitely
was another. Here's the thing, Up was another one. I was like, triple S tier, but I was like, I only have one.
You only get one.
I had to pick one.
Honestly,
here's a weird thing about
Up and Wally are probably my top two Pixar movies.
I legit think
really great ones.
I legit think I've only seen Up all the way through one time, and I think it was in theaters. I don't know if I've ever watched it for the full length of the movie again. But I still love it. Like it's still great. But like
I think I've seen it twice. Maybe.
I feel. But really
I remember the whole movie
because like you guys are gonna hate me. I actually wouldn't put Up as a triple S. Like I think Up is overrated in a lot of ways. Like rewatching parts of Up, I'm kind of like,
I definitely don't think Up is overrated, but no, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's overrated, but I do think there are a lot of parts of Up that people forget. I will say that like Up is defined by its opening 10
beginning
minutes.
Yep, 100%.
And that's the thing. The opening 10 minutes of Up are flawless. It's probably some of the best, one of the best sequences in movie history.
Yeah.
And that's what it gets defined by. And the rest of the movie is great too. I think the rest of the movie is fantastic, but it does get for like the rest is a bit more forgotten.
Well, like the whole idea of the bad guy with the Zeppelin and the dogs, like that, in my opinion, is when the story starts to dip a lot. Like you said, the first 10 minutes are definitely flawless. The movie is remembered by those 10 minutes. The reason people look it up is because of that time. They're like, the song and the sadness, it's oh my gosh. And then they're like, what happens after that? Oh, I don't know. You know, they go to some island and then there's a guy who has talking dogs and then, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, in my opinion, the rest of Up could have been a short.
Here's the thing with Up. First, I do think, I'm double checking just to make sure I'm not wrong on this. I think Up is the first or one of the first animated movies to ever be nominated for Best Picture. I think Up and Beauty and the Beast, the original one from '93, were nominated for Best Picture, and they're the only two that were until I think Toy Story 3 also was nominated for Best Picture. And so that was quite the feat it pulled. And I will say that, like, there's those the themes Up sets up early on with like the whole opening 10 minutes between him and the wife. I do think in terms of like that connection, that's what carries the movie for me. And those scenes like at the end where he finally gets to Paradise Falls, is that what it's called, right? Mm-hmm. And he gets there on his house and he's sitting there with the book and he realizes like, this isn't what she would have wanted. This isn't what this is what he thought he needed to be happy, but it wasn't. And then he opens up the book and at the end it says like, now time for you to go find your own adventure or something like that. It's so emotional, dude. That movie makes me cry so much.
It is one of the saddest Pixar movies.
I think and Inside Out make me cry the most out of any Pixar movie.
I definitely think that Up is emotional, but I don't know if like the entire movie is 10 out of 10 the whole way through. Like, I'd say it starts off amazing, it ends great, in the middle there's some good parts there, but the rest of it feels very fillery. Like, it's a lot of like like we don't really need to know. Like, I feel like, in my opinion, they looked it up, they had an idea for a short, and then they expanded it into a full-length movie. Like, that's what it feels like to me rewatching. I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I'm not even like against what you're saying necessarily, but I still do think that those parts hold up. Yeah, I still think they're great. Like, I do agree with what you're saying that it could have been a short and been amazing, but I don't think that those parts that are more forgotten about are bad. Like, I think looking back on it, you can make the argument kind of being like, I don't really remember that much of the middle of Up. And so it must have not been that great. But like, as you're watching it, I really do think it is still like you're in it, you know, and you're still like feeling those moments. But then afterward, it's easy to kind of look back and be like, I don't remember it that much. I don't know.
I think you guys are going to end up putting it at A, but I would argue
it's an A for me.
At least B. I'd say it's at least a B for me.
Now the question is, where do we put it within A? Because I know for Tanner, it would obviously be at the end because he would have said B. But for me, I think it's probably before Incredibles for me personally.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, I would go triple Escott tier if I could. But
I'm honestly fine putting it above Incredibles. But that's up to Hayes.
Dare you? Oh my gosh!
I think Up
just kept going up. Hazen was gonna put it in Cars.
Look, I'm as far as we can let it go. I'm gonna let it go. So, if we want to put it above Monsters Inc., that's fine with me. So
I wouldn't put it above Monsters Inc. But
look, I want to say my final piece. Incredibles is a thought out concrete story the whole way through. Almost everything that happens in the movie is necessary.
I mean, it's a superhero movie.
Still, it's not though. Like, it's about family and like becoming who you want to be and like not in my opinion, Incredibles, there's not really a lot that you could take out of the movie because it would take away from the movie. Up, I feel like you could take out like 30 minutes and people would not even notice. They take out the whole part with the bad guy. Like, what's the bad guy's name?
If I remember.
I'm saying, like, nobody knows.
No, yeah,
and the thing is,
like,
what was his goal? I don't
know. No, and this is
but the thing is this is one of those situations that it's like I don't. Yeah. They shouldn't have even put in a bad guy. I'll give you that. It should have just been like, what's his name? The dude from Up. I'm terrible.
Carl. Yeah.
Carl, like hanging out with Doug and the other
Russell.
kid and Russell.
Well, and this is the thing, and this is why this goes back to my point of what I was saying, where it's like, I get what you're saying, Tanner, but I don't think those moments take away from what Up is.
But I don't think they're necessary to the story.
You're right. You're right. You could remove 30 minutes of Up and it would still be great. And you could, in fact, you could remove 30 minutes of Up and people wouldn't even like really notice. I think you're right. But ultimately, I don't think those extra 30 minutes make it worse. It's the way I look at like Lord of the Rings and the extended editions, right? Is they removed like a good hour to an hour and a half on each movie, right? And that extra content being added in the extended edition didn't make the movies worse. It just added more to where like the theatrical versions aren't like worse because they didn't have that stuff, right? And so I look at it that way, where it's like if you removed it, the movie's still great. It's just extra stuff that doesn't need to be there, but it's there regardless. I don't know. I still think it's a great movie. I'll put it behind Incredibles. How about that? As a compromise, we'll say
no,
unless Hasten doesn't want to. In which case we can have it.
It's all a vote. So
yeah. So if Hasten wants it the highest,
and if Connor wants it below Incredibles and Tanner wants it below Incredibles, then it goes below Incredibles. Oops.
Well, no, because Tanner wants it all the way back at the bottom.
So in between.
I know. So that if you want to average it out,
average it out.
Probably goes like. Oh, it probably would end up like right here, ish.
I think before Incredibles that works. Or before it, like
it'd probably be
right there.
Okay, there we go. That's fine.
Good,
all right,
that's fine. Oh my gosh,
Up is so good. Like, dude,
I couldn't see it be above Incredibles, though.
But the music of Up is so good too. Like,
like once again, like I look at this and I actually this doesn't make me mad. Looking at Up where it is, like that's okay. But I don't know, like I can't logically think of it as better than Incredibles.
The thing is honestly, the bond and stuff too between Carl and Russell is so great too. I really do think the worst parts of Up are the bad guys.
The generation mix too, which is really cool. Like the old guy mixing with the young kid.
I think the A story is amazing. The story about Carl chasing his dream with Ellie and that whole scenario with him and Russell. But the B story of Carl finding his hero, which is the bad guy, the whatever his name is, that is very weak in my opinion. That's the only reason that I'm like, ugh. Even though I look at this and I'm thinking, okay, that's fine. I wouldn't look at that and be like, oh, what the is Up doing right there? You know, like. So that's fine with me.
Yeah, I think it's good where it's at. Cool. Well, let's move on to the next movie, which we got Toy Story 3. 2010. What? Yeah.
Oh, 3?
Dang.
Thing is, I would put 3 above Toy Story.
I love number 3. I don't know if it's better than Incredibles or Monsters, Inc. It's definitely better than Up.
Well, so do we all agree it's an A?
Yeah.
It's an A, so we know it's at least an A. For me...
It's the best Toy Story, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it is. Well, so it's gonna be above Toy Story 1.
So you're probably going right here.
It's got to be above right Up there. Though.
For me, it's
Toy
above.
Story 3 has one of the best emotional scenes of all time.
This is what I'm gonna say. I honestly think Toy Story 3 could potentially go above Monsters, Inc.
I agree. I think Toy Story 3 is.
You guys don't want to use your triple S tier?
No.
I'm saving mine for now.
Wait, Connor, you might be doing the same one I'm doing though.
We'll see. We'll find out. We can always if we do, then one of us can change it to
because I think it's the one that Hasten mentioned at the start.
We'll find out. So Toy Story 3, I would say I don't know. I'm conflicted between right there or below Monsters Inc. One of the two. I'm good with either. Here's what
I'd put it above, actually. I think
it was. This is what I'll say. I think Toy Story 3 is a better movie than Monsters Inc. But I like Monsters Inc. more.
But you have to give that the credit to the fact that it came out much later.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
True.
So it's a much,
like almost 10 years later.
For Monsters Inc. at the time it came out, being the fourth Pixar movie, third Pixar movie ever, right? No, fourth, I think. Fourth, actually, yeah. It is amazing. The fact that it ended up so great. Toy Story, they had tons of stuff to go off of. You know, they had already built their reputation and best writers.
I feel like The Incredibles being third is just so. I don't know.
It makes me sad.
I love The Incredibles.
It is great.
It is so good. Every time I think back about it, and I'm like, that was like a good movie.
It sounds awful. I do love Toy Story 3, and I think it definitely deserves its Oscar nom. It deserves being one of the best. But there's something about Incredibles and Monsters Inc. that are better, in my opinion. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because Toy Story is a sequel.
Well, so Toy Story 3 and Up are the only two Pixar movies to be nominated for Best Picture. I think both are very deserving. And like I said, I do think Toy Story 3 overall, like beat for beat, is a better movie than Monsters Inc. But like I said, I enjoy Monsters Inc.
for
more
you
because I'm nostalgic about it. So for me, I would put it above Monsters Inc. But I am happy with it. I'm happy with it where it's at right there.
Tanner, what do you say?
It's so hard.
I think that's good.
You think you'd leave it here?
Yeah.
Because I would put it above it with Connor.
I'd leave it there.
Well,
in that case, I'd put it below Incredibles.
Tanner gets what he wants. Yeah,
I think it's fair. It's the best Toy Story, and Toy Story is probably one of my favorite franchises. Probably my second favorite franchise from that thing. So
yeah, I like where it's at, but I will say, in the same way Tanner was talking about Up, I do think there's some similar things.
Some overratedness to Toy Story 3.
Like, I do think there's some of those middle parts where you could take out 10 to 30 minutes worth of the middle of Toy Story 3, and it wouldn't affect my. Because once again, it's funny that there's some of these Pixar movies that are defined by one scene in particular, and it's like, what's the scene you think of with Toy Story 3? It's the same scene everyone thinks of.
The incinerator one.
The incinerator scene. And like, it's just like how Up is defined
and the
by
one
the
with
beginning.
Andy, though, right? I think the ending of Toy Story 3 in general,
it was really good.
From the incinerator on is amazing.
Yes, exactly.
Like
10, that's the thing, is like
100 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the ending of Toy Story 3 is triple S God tier. I think the first hour of Toy Story 3 is like 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. You know what I mean?
I'd say like this. I'd actually say the start of Toy Story 3 is 10 out of 10. It's the middle that tends to falter in some ways, in some spots. Like, as much as like I liked when they went back to Bonnie's house and it introduced like the unicorn guy, that whole section was kind of just like, who cares? It was just a backstory for Lotso and stuff.
I will say though, that does contain one of my favorite scenes, which is when they're like, "Oh, that's Giggles up there," and then it cuts to Giggles, and he's freaking like this depressed clown with like a frown on his face. That was a great scene.
Hilarious.
But yeah, I will say that the middle of Toy Story 3 is probably the weakest part, and then you look at movies like Monsters Inc. and Incredibles,
and they're good all the way through.
They're good all the way through. Like, the entire thing is
like I said, they are very concrete movies. Like, there's not really places you could take out stuff and people would be like,
yeah, for sure. But I'm fine with Toy Story 3 with that, honestly, because those highs are so high.
Yeah, it's true.
The highs are so high that it makes up for those.
It has an entire section which is 100 out of 10, which ultimately makes it.
It brings up the rest. Exactly. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, we got Toy Story 3. Now we move on to Brave. Oh no, Cars 2.
What the frick? When did Brave come out?
Brave's after this.
What the fuck? Honestly, I'm not. This one's a very underrated movie.
Cars 2 gets a lot of hate.
It does.
I will say that.
And what pisses me off is like, here's my problem with Cars 2. People hate it because it's Mater. It's not a Cars movie. They should have called it Mater. Well, no, this is where they fail. Okay, because yes, for marketing, they had to call it Cars because if they didn't, it wouldn't have made as much money. But it's not a Cars movie. It is Mater 1. It is Mater, the first movie, because it was setting up the Mater TV show, which came on Disney Channel, all that stuff, right? It is the Mater show. But rewatching it, it is actually super good. The quality of it's got a great villain. It's got great side
Michael
characters.
Caine.
Yeah, Michael Caine.
Michael Caine's in it.
As Finn McMissile. And then
Finn McMissile.
It's a great movie on its own, but people associate it with Cars, which makes it worse.
What's the line he says in the trailer that always stuck with me? Like where he's like, Finn McMissile.
British intelligence.
Tomater. Average intelligence. Yeah. That's a great line.
Mater is an awesome kid. It's hilarious. Okay,
Yeah,
so where do you guys put it?
I agree with Tanner that I do think Cars 2 gets unnecessary hate, but it's definitely not above a B for me.
I don't think it's above a B. I agree with you.
Like, I mean, honestly,
I'm not saying it's underrated enough that it's all of a sudden S tier. It's underrated in a way that it's not a D. It's more like a B for me. Like honestly, I'd watch it over Bug's Life.
If we put it in the C category, I wouldn't be against it, honestly. Because it's good. Like I
do think it's on par with Toy Story 2 in a way where I would want to watch it.
But do you think it's great? Like, do you turn to someone and like they're like, "Oh, what'd you think of Cars 2?" And you're like, "It was great."
No, yeah, okay, sure.
Like I think it's good. Like
it's above Bug's Life though.
I'll say it, and maybe I'll get hate for it. Whatever. Like I love Cars 2. I guess maybe not love, but I really like Cars 2. I think Cars 2 was good.
You're not going to get any hate for saying that.
But yeah, that's true. No one cares. No one's watching. But like, I don't.
Hello, nobody.
Hi, thanks for watching, nobody.
We can say whatever we want right now. If people don't care.
I would vote for Cars 2 to be behind A Bug's Life.
No way.
Please.
I'm not against that.
Like, work with me here. Bug's Life has so much. Come on, Connor.
No.
Talk about like memories.
Bug's Life
here,
is
like
definitely.
Come on,
easily...
it's last. It's gonna be last Pixar movie at this rate.
I know that is what I'm thinking.
There is one that will definitely be below.
No, but Hasten does have a point where it's like there's only one movie that I think could go below it, and so. Do we really want Bug's Life in last place? Like Bug's Life is
actually no.
Last place
actually
worthy?
No. I think there's two that could go below it. I think there's two.
Two? Mm-hmm. What could be the second?
There's one other that I think I don't really care for.
I couldn't see anything. So,
okay, rewatch Cars 2 for me tonight or tomorrow or something because I watched it a couple weeks ago when I was like we were watching all the Disney movies and. It's a lot better than you think. Take it away the fact that it's not a direct sequel of Cars 2. Because Cars 3 should be Cars 2. Cars 2 should be Mater 1. It's not Cars, but it's still a good movie. It's better than Bug's Life. Bug's Life is a great movie, but Cars 2 is really good in a way that it has its own...
So, Tanner, your vote's for above Bug's Life. Yeah. Hastings is for below.
So it's up to you again.
Let's put it above Bug's Life for now, but I'm thinking of revisiting it depending on what goes below. I would be fine,
honestly, personally, if we moved Bug's Life up to B. No. But
it's not on par with Toy Story 2.
Come on,
it's weird. That's
not the point. Nothing is like Finding Nemo's not on par with Toy Story 3.
You're telling me you watch Bug's Life and
Hazen does bring up a point there. Hazen does bring up a point.
But you're telling me you're watching Bug's Life and you're like, oh, that movie was great. That was a great movie.
It's a good movie. It literally came out, Tanner, the year I was born.
It doesn't matter.
So it has to be great.
I detach that. Like time when it came out doesn't matter. Like it's how you're attached to it. I think that Bug's Life, when you watch the movie, you're like, that's a good movie. It's a Pixar movie. It's not great. You're not like, oh my gosh, that was such a great movie. No,
I do agree with Tanner that it's like there's other movies on this list where you're like, that was fantastic. That was great. You know, you look at stuff like, Incredibles or Wally or whatever, and you're like, that was great. That was a great movie. And the truth is, like,
I do think that if they remade Bug's Life now, it would be better. It's kind of a relic of its time. Like visually, it's not very impressive. Writing, acting, kind of just all mediocre. I think the best part is the villain.
Bug's Life comes out to
Hops or what's his name?
Hopper.
Yeah.
If Bug's Life end up coming out to second to last place, I'm dropping Wally to A. And I'm gonna move Bugs Life up to
S tier.
Just to spite
That'd be
us.
ridiculous. People look at our tier list and it's
I do think it's funny that like I'm trying not to be hypocritical of certain words I'm using, because I found myself a couple times being like, oh, this movie's great, but it's in the C category or in the amazing category. And I'm like, I have to remember to use the right verbiage for
otherwise it's like,
it's like, what are you talking about? You just said it was amazing, but you're putting it in B.
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it right there for now, and we'll revisit it potentially. Let's move on to Pixar's first like princess movie, technically, which is Brave. She's in the princess family now. She was in Wreck-It Ralph 2 as a princess, right? Yep. So, where are we ranking Brave, guys?
I want to say I think Brave is actually really good. It's got a great story with the mom, but I think it's still a B.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's a great movie, but it's not on the level of Bug's Life, and it's not on the level of Toy Story 3. Like, I don't know. It's like in between.
Yep.
I watched that movie and I'm like, that's a great movie.
I can't do this list.
Yeah.
I cannot deal with the Bug's Life being that low. Like, I can't do it.
How? Rewatch Bug's Life and honestly tell me it's a great.
I can't even tell you how many times I've watched Bug's Life.
I'm sorry. You cannot rewatch Bug's Life.
That's my version of Ryan's toy reviews or whatever for nowadays, where they watch
When's the last time you watched Bug's Life? Yeah, right. You're probably remembering it as a kid and you're like, dang, the freaking Burt Girl-Ant was thick. Like, so.
Hopper, so cool.
I guarantee you rewatch Bug's Life and you're probably like, man, that was good.
I rewatched Bug's Life when Disney Plus came out. It was good. I liked it.
You just said good. You just said the word.
It was great. I loved
it. It's hey, I will defend that. I've said that multiple times throughout this. It's hard to remember the verbiage.
I'm just saying, like, all I know is watching Bug's Life. We have to remember. Hasten, I think you're having an existential crisis because
I picked a Bug's Life to watch instead of like all these other movies that I could have watched.
Remember, the reason you're probably freaking out is because it's at the lowest it can go, but the lowest is still really good. There could be a D and an F. You know what I'm saying? Like, in reality, Bug's Life is not that low. There's still 2 more tiers below it. You know what I mean? Like,
and here's the thing, I'm still open to the idea of putting Cars 2 below it. We'll get to that maybe at the end if you cannot stand where it's at. But all right, I think Brave's good where it's at though.
Yeah.
Right? I just want to say real fast. I just remembered the part on It's Tough to Be a Black Theater, which is so good when Hopper sends out his hornets or whatever.
They sting your back, and I always got scared, so I put my back up.
Yeah, stand up. I miss It's Tough to Be a Black Theater.
I did it in Orlando both times this year.
Do they have it there?
Yeah, it's in Orlando.
What? Oh my gosh, I want to do it again.
Yeah. And I can't associate the Bug's Life ride with the movie though. Bug's Life ride is better than the movie.
No, true.
That's all I'm saying.
I hate you.
I agree with that actually.
Just like how the Muppets theater show is better than any of the movies.
I don't know. The Muppets 2011 is really good.
I mean, yeah. And Muppets Go to Space.
Muppets Go to Space is great. Even the original Muppets movie is really good.
Yeah.
But this is not a Muppets tier maker.
Muppets tier.
We'll do that one day.
Yeah. In like 30 years, and we're like, I can't think of anything. Okay, let's rate the Muppets movies.
Muppets tier time.
We have a special guest, Kermit.
We have Kermit with
low.
us. Dude,
he's falling so low that he's on the super basement.
Dude, maybe at that point, like, who knows how relevant the Muppets will be? Maybe we
do you have Kermit on your? What
the fuck? Evil Kermit.
Wait, what is that?
It's Kermit with the evil one.
The evil. It's Constantine. I can give you anything.
I am Kermit the Frog.
Give you anything you need.
That's such a good. That one's good too.
That one's good too. Yeah, Muppets has some great stuff. Let's move on to the next one. Finally a prequel to what is our number one Pixar movie besides Wally right now.
Dang,
which is,
that was after. That was the first thing after Brave.
Yeah, Monsters University.
Triple S.
2013, Monsters University. Where are we ranking it, boys?
This is
literally. It's honestly, I haven't seen it.
You gotta watch it. You are insane.
I watched the trailer.
Best.
I watched the trailer and I was like, "That looks awful," and I'm not doing that to myself.
You're insane. How? It's all. It is easily one of the best Pixar movies, in my opinion. Monsters University is amazing. It's up. I might use my triple S for this one.
Wow.
Like easily. Monsters University is better than Monsters Inc.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, easily.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I have to say real quick. So we have our triple S's.
Yeah.
Can we decide unanimously if one is triple S? Like if we all are like, oh,
like
yeah,
how? Sure. Yeah, I say if it's in full agreement, why not? But we only get one. Maybe.
Then I use my Monsters University's triple S for sure. I use it.
What?
Yeah. I love Monsters University. I love Monsters University. Okay, I would watch it every day.
God, you guys move that up into the list.
What?
Here's the thing. Just in case it move it up to the triple S, that was funny. I'm so upset. I think it's
Connor, do you not agree?
No, here's the thing.
I thought this is the one I thought you were gonna use yours for.
No, mine's coming later. But here's the thing. Monsters University, I absolutely love. I think it is super underrated. I think it's one of the best Pixar movies. I agree.
I actually think a lot of people do like it. So I don't know if it's underrated.
I think it's considered more like middle. I think it's considered like B category. But
I just love the feeling. Like the college, like dun, dun, like
the music.
I don't know. It's like Yeah. It reminds me of like when we used to play NCAA.
Yeah, the music is like NCAA, Hasten, so you should play it or watch it.
Play it, dude.
Play NCAA, dude. It's like Monsters University.
Yeah, you'll see Sully run out.
You'll see Mike Wazowski. It's crazy, bro.
I'll have to watch it.
It's really good. It's really good, but for me, it's A. But... It's an A category.
Where would you put it on A?
I would put it below Toy Story.
No way. That's insane.
Yeah.
Because Toy Story shouldn't even be an A. We originally had it at B.
No, Toy Story should be up there. Because I like Toy Story more than Cars and Ratatouille and Nemo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're saying...
I don't think that's crazy.
Is so good.
It is so good, but like I don't like it more than Toy Story.
I legit could watch it every single night. Going to sleep.
You got the awesome,
I do that. We do that a lot.
Swedish House Mafia song, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. Whatever happened to them? They're gone. Oh, they retired, I think.
They broke up, I think. He hasn't even seen it. You gotta judge it before you haven't even seen it.
Puts it to the bottom of the list.
You haven't even seen it.
What are you talking about? Let's just keep moving on with our list here.
All right, next up now. All right, well, there you have it, folks. Here's the thing.
Can I ever take back my triple S if I need to?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, okay. Up until the end of the podcast, of course. But I think Monsters University is great. I love it. I mean, amazing. But I think it is going to be fun. I think people are going to see our list and be like, what the frick?
I have to see what you end up using your triple S as.
All right. Well, we'll get to it. So let's move on to our next one.
I'm just going to use it for this
one. The Good Dinosaur 2015 triple S tier. Put it up, Hasten. Oh, just kidding. No, it's not Good Dinosaur. It's Inside Out 2015.
Are you using your triple S car?
Triple S car tier. Put it up. Put it in.
I didn't even click Good Dinosaur. What the heck?
It just knows.
This is what you were going to use.
Are you using it, Connor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Inside Out. Inside Out is my
I do like it. It's a good movie. I could see it.
It's not necessarily
my favorite. Good? It's only a C for you, Hazen?
I think it's great, but I think if it was my list, I would move Brave down to good, Bug's Life up to B, and Inside Out right above Bug's Life.
That's nuts.
Inside
Out.
If I
didn't use my triple S I would have used it for Inside Out. Inside Out is amazing.
Yeah. I love Inside Out.
It's great.
I think it's probably the single best. I'd put it. Are we ranking our triple S because it's above Wally?
Oh, well, we're gonna have to at the end. Yeah, we will have to do that.
I think Inside Out overall is the best Pixar movie.
I do too, personally.
I know we can agree on this.
So, well, and it is. We have to put it above.
I think
Wally
me and Connor are
agreed. Here's the thing. I think Inside Out is like, once again, it's one of those concrete movies where it has a great beginning, middle, end, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the emotions like are the strong. Like literally, that's what it's about.
I don't think
Making
there's a movie I
about
cried
emotions.
more than Inside Out.
Yeah, I agree. Inside Out was the Pixar movie I cried most.
There's only one movie on this entire list that's made me cry, and we haven't even gotten to it yet. So.
Wow. Yeah, Inside Out's
Cars
incredible.
3.
Cars 3.
when
Good Dinosaur.
When Lightning McQueen flips over and almost dies, guys.
Which I could be making a move later on.
With
getting rid of Wally.
Hasten
we'll see.
About making moves.
We'll see. I hope we can agree on
Wally. Well, let's say we already do. We all agree Wally should be S tier. So you can take.
Well, we'll see. We got a way to set. We can discuss that at the end once we.
Because Wally deserves to be where it is. Like all of us agree. So you might be able to use.
We'll see.
Anyway.
We'll see. Maybe the triple S God tier I want. Maybe you guys will agree too. But we'll see.
Sorry, I just had to plug in my charger real fast.
There's 2 that we haven't gotten to that I would say triple S.
Okay, let's just keep going though.
Okay. Well, real fast, I just want to gush about Inside Out just a little more. I want to discuss. I want to talk about my theater experience with it because I still remember it to this day because it was before. What was it was it Last of Us? No, it wasn't Last of Us. Oh, it was Batman Arkham Knight. It was before the release, the midnight release of Batman Arkham Knight. All 3 of us went, and I remember we went and seen Inside Out right before it. And I thought it's still so funny to me because we were in a packed theater. Literally, it was like seat to seat, and we were right in the middle. And I just remember sitting in between crying. Tanner and Hasten. And I just remember bawling my eyes out Inside Out. It was just so funny because me and Tanner were crying. I don't remember who Hasten might have been, but it's just such a funny.
I'm pretty sure you
experience.
did when Bing Bong died. I'm almost positive.
Who doesn't
take her to the
Bing
moon
Bong
from me?
dies?
I was like, F you fucking.
I really maybe Up made me cry, but I don't think. I think there's only one movie that has really.
I think it's funny because like when Bing Bong is first introduced, I remember not being the biggest fan of Bing Bong. And then, like, by the time he goes away, I was like I was bawling. Like, that freaking line where he says, take her to the moon for me. Oh, my gosh.
I think Bing Bong became one of the best characters they've had. Like, the idea of him, like a imaginary character and, like, what they go through emotionally. Like, it's so cool. Like, it's all about emotions. All the characters have emotions. It's so cool. I love it.
So great. Yeah, love Inside Out. And then even the real world stuff with Riley and her parents, and then seeing like the inside of the parents' heads was great too. Like that was a great surprise.
Watching the behind the scenes for Inside Out and hearing about what the stuff they did, like how cinematography wise it's filmed differently from inside the mind from outside. When it's outside, it's hand camera to feel more real, shaky, like it's a person filming, and then on the inside it's still one shots, panning, smooth.
Once again, also incredible soundtrack. The dun 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 dun, dun, dun. Michael Giacchino again, I think, and then incredible voice cast: Amy Poehler, Bill Hader. All
everyone's
those,
great in that one.
Yeah, two Office people and Parks and Rec. So.
Oh yeah, what the heck?
Yeah. What is next? Let's move on to
Cars 3?
Good Dinosaur 2015. Same year. It was that November. What a weird dip in quality.
Yeah. I mean, that's why though, because they put most of their time into Inside Out.
Yeah.
I mean, look, okay. Yes, that's where it should be.
I swear to God.
Well, 100%. Well, yes. Yeah. Well, duh. I mean,
triple S, take out Inside Out, put in.
Because once again, we have to reiterate. These are all good, including Bug's Life. The thing is like with Good Dinosaur, it's still a good movie. Like watching the movie, you're like, this is a good Disney movie. But for Pixar hits a certain level of quality, and it just doesn't quite hit that Pixar quality line. Like it feels like it just kind of jumps way below it. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, even weird. As a normal animated movie, I feel like I'd watch it and be like, did Illumination make that? Because it's kind of trash. I don't know.
It's so hard on Illumination.
Horrible.
Illumination is awful. They've only made one good
Despicable Me is good.
And Despicable Me 1 is great.
First Despicable Me is a great movie. 2 is okay. 3 was kind of weird.
Minions, awful. Grinch. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm so mad they're making the Mario movie.
Oh, I hope that's good. I hope they can somehow make that work. Yeah, Good Dinosaur is a weird situation. I remember going with all of the siblings. It was just those siblings to go see it in theaters, and I remember being like, "What the heck?" Like that was not like what I wanted it to be at all.
Yeah.
Like, and I get that that's like, I don't know. It was just kind of a letdown because you go in with an expectation for Pixar movies, right? Like you have an expectation that you're gonna feel emotion, that you're gonna probably cry at some point,
Right.
and I just didn't get any of that with Good Dinosaur, which is it's a major disappointment too because I love dinosaurs.
Rewatching it, like it is, like it kind of bothers me because the old Pixar movies lacked a lot of the emotion because they were older, right? Like they weren't at that point. Good Dinosaur does have a lot of emotional stuff, but in my opinion, it's almost like they took it too far. Because like I actually think the entire movie is nothing but emotional because it's about Arlo like not feeling good enough, and there's like the cool part with the T-Rex where he's like, if you're not scared, you ain't alive, blah blah blah. There's a lot of cool stuff in it, but that's why it's just like it's not fun. Like Pixar movies need to be fun and emotional, so you need to be having fun watching it, being like, yeah, instead of being like, oh yeah, that Arlo kid's depressed, yeah, he's gonna jump off the cliff, yep, cool, like. All right, like I don't know, like it needs to have a charm and a fun.
It has to have a good balance.
Yeah,
for sure. I definitely agree with that.
Even visually, it's very different from the rest of the Pixar movies, especially the more recent ones. It just, I don't know, the animation style, the look of the characters is very different. It's like very odd. I don't know. It doesn't match the same. As
it was kind of weird too that like. As we've talked about before, they go for more of the realistic approach to like the setting most of the time, and then the characters are more cartoony. I thought it was a kind of weird thing that like how the dinosaur was animated. Yeah. Like it looks kind of slimy. Yep. Like, and like, I don't know, it just didn't feel very dinosaur.
Well, and like the character, like I feel like Pixar characters tend to look the same. Like, like you can tell when somebody like the creator of The Simpsons, when he's made another show. Futurama looks the same. Like the character faces. Disenchantment looks the same as Futurama, which looks the same as Simpsons. Like most of the Pixar ones, you can see it and you're like, okay, that's a Pixar movie. Good Dinosaur, it almost seems like it was animated by, funnily enough, like Illumination. Like it's kind of like that weird, not quite right animation style. I don't know, like the words don't match up with the lips, and I don't know, it's just weird. It feels like they almost let their student animators animate it. I don't know, it's so strange.
Yeah, it definitely has that different feeling to it. I agree.
And I hate it because it throws off the Pixar theory.
Well, not technically. Like a lot of people think it's just the first one in the Pixar
very beginning, but doesn't it throw it off because there's a human, and humans shouldn't exist at that point?
Oh,
after that, it's like monsters, and then the first time humans appear, it's because they're superheroes and stuff. I don't know. It's just like this.
I haven't heard that theory. I mean, I know the Pixar theory, but yeah, I haven't thought about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. We didn't have to like officially vote on that, which is fine because
no, we don't.
Now we go to Finding Dory, 2016. Oh.
Yeah, this is the other one that I think could be below Bug's Life.
So here's the thing. I think Finding Dory is a good movie. I don't think it's
good.
I don't think it's like amazing. It's definitely
I'd put it in great below Brave.
No way.
I'm kind of thinking the same with Hasten, honestly.
You're defending Bug's Life. You think it's
I would put Bug's Life above it. But you guys won't let me move Bugs Life up.
I think the best part of Finding Dory is the octopus and that whole thing. But otherwise, like, I don't know. It misses the mark for me, like, completely. It feels like a pointless sequel. I don't know. I don't really care for Finding Dory.
I think Finding Dory has its moments. And, like, I agree it didn't need to exist. I mean, I'm glad it does, but it's one of those ones I get what you're saying where it's kind of like a pointless sequel in a way. But I think it has some really great moments. One of my favorite moments is like the banter between like the wife and husband fish at the beginning when they find Dory, and they're like, it's just really funny some of the stuff they're saying. They're getting mad at each other like a upset couple. I don't know. I don't even remember the lines, but I just remember it being really funny. And then like Baby Dory's really cute too with the eyes. And like, I like sand.
Yeah, that's
sand is squishy.
Yeah. I don't know though. Like, I don't know if I can say that that's enough redeeming qualities to be like, oh yeah, it's easily in a great team.
I mean, it's not like we moved it up to A or anything.
Because Connor said C too.
No, I said I think
Connor agreed with me right where we're at.
It can't be B.
Here's
no
the thing.
way.
Do you guys is there a definitive scene you remember from Finding Dory?
The whale guy going, ooh.
Oh wow. See, for me it's the scene with the wonderful world at the end where they drive the car off the edge and it's like I
didn't even remember that.
And it's the slow motion and they're all falling out like
I'm terrible with scenes. So you can't ask me that about any movie because I won't remember anything.
I was just curious if there was like a definitive part that you remember, like in Toy Story 3 or something. Because I will say that this is one of those movies that I don't.
But we're not at the same level of Toy Story 3, right? I can't remember a single scene from Brave, honestly.
Well, and that's what I mean. Yeah, and that's why I was asking because I don't really remember too many scenes from Finding Dory. So I'm just making an argument for it not being that high. But
I think I'm so surprised that you guys are.
There's tons of scenes out of A Bug's Life I can recall.
Here's what I'll say. I'm willing to put Bug's Life where Finding Dory is, but Finding Dory has to go where Bug's Life is.
Well, I don't agree with that
because I think Bug's Life is better than Finding Dory.
I would sacrifice Finding Dory to move.
See, here's the thing. This goes into the whole school of thought of that. I think Finding Dory is a better movie than Bug's Life only because it's 20 years later and it looks better. Just there's been 20 years of experience,
animated,
and edited, animated, all of that.
Well, their voice actors are better, like everything.
Yeah, and so I think Finding Dory is technically a better movie. And honestly, it's like I think Bug's Life is great too, or good, but I don't. It's tough for me to be.
In my opinion, like I don't know, like
I couldn't pick it over.
Finding Dory seems one of like the pointless sequels. Like even Cars is kind of in that same boat where it's like Cars ended on a good note. It didn't really need a sequel. Finding Nemo ended on a good note. Like I don't know why they felt the need for a sequel.
Because it was
cash grab. Because like I don't know, like because like the only ones that in my opinion have really succeeded is like Toy Story and Incredibles. Like those are the two movies that the sequels were actually just as good as the original. You know, I don't know.
I'm good with where it's at for now. We can maybe revisit it once we get to the end, but I think I'm good with where it's at.
Lame.
Cool. Let's move on to the next one. We now have Cars 3. 2017.
Can I get a quick, like the quickest of recaps about Cars 3?
So, Lightning McQueen is driving in a racetrack, and he's with all his buddies. And
he dies.
Oh, I'm winning the Piston Cup, and all of a sudden, the fast guy, the electric car, comes zooming past him, and he's like, he wins the Piston Cup. And
it's all about electric cars. Yeah.
And then, like he gets damaged, right? And he's like, "Oh, I can't race again. F this." And then, he ends up going to like a rehabilitation center where, what's his name? The actor guy is like. He's like, oh, you need to retire and sell merchandise.
The actor guy,
the famous, what's his name? It's a famous. As soon as you hear him, you're like, oh, it's that guy.
Who is he? In
his manager? His manager.
Oh, Doc.
No, the manager guy. It's Nathan Fillion, isn't it? He's like, all right, Lightning, I need you to retire now and sell some merchandise. Anyway,
you're not talking about Doc Hudson, right? From the first one? No, that's Paul Newman. Okay.
The manager guy, the guy who's like telling him to retire and has.
Oh, I don't remember.
Anyway, so his manager guy's like, oh yeah, you need to retire and sell merchandise. And Lightning's like, I want to race. And he's like, let me race one more time, and if I win, then you let me keep racing. But if I lose, I'll sell your merchandise. He's like, okay. And then he gets this new car, Cruz Ramirez, to help train him. Lightning McQueen finds out that she's always wanted to be a racer. Lightning McQueen ends up going on like a road trip with Cruz Ramirez to try to train himself.
I remember it now.
He ends up theoretically training her. Anyway.
Dang, Tanner remembers this so well. I didn't remember that.
It was a good one. It was at least great.
I think
it's better than Cars 2. I think it's better than Finding Dory. It's better than Brave.
It's weird because I've only seen Cars 3 once, and it was when we all went to go see it in theaters here, like our whole family. Yeah. And it was a bad theater experience because remember they started it early, and so we walked in like 10 minutes late. and which was super annoying. And so we missed like the first 10 minutes. So I still to this day don't know what the first 10 minutes of the movie are.
A certain child running around?
Yeah. No.
Wait, that was Aladdin.
No, that was Aladdin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But so I still don't know the first 10 minutes of Cars 3, but I remember thinking it was good. I think it's a good movie.
I mean, I'd put it above Brave, I think.
I'm happy with this spot right here.
Me too. I think that's perfect.
Those are always the easiest ones to decide.
Yeah. I think that looks good. Cool. Well, Cars 3 is decided. I can't believe that was 2017. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Wild. All right, now, Coco. Baby, Coco 2017.
I haven't seen
S tier.
I haven't seen Coco, and it's one I've always wanted to see. There's there's a few Pixar movies I've wanted to see,
Coco,
and I just haven't done it. And I imagine I'll like it. But.
That's upsetting only because that's the only reason why that's really upsetting is because it would be an S tier vote for me, and so I think it could have been an S tier.
Well, that's why I'm thinking I gotta get rid of mine and do Coco because dude, Coco is so good.
Well, the thing is honestly, if Hasten hasn't seen it and we have 2 S tier votes, can we put it in S tier?
I mean, we could. Thing is
that's up to Hasten, I guess.
I also want another one in S tier that's coming up.
Oh wow,
I do too.
This is tough. Yeah, I mean, for me, it would be S tier.
I think Tanner might be thinking of a different one.
So the question is if Hasten hasn't seen it, do we put it S tier or do we put it above Toy Story 3?
I don't know if we technically can put it in S tier if Hasten hasn't seen it. But Hasten also hasn't seen MU.
Man, you guys put it in.
But
well, that was your selection.
Where would you guys put Monsters University? Because I don't know if Hasten can vote because he hasn't seen it.
I would put Monsters University before Toy Story, so between Cars and Toy Story.
Okay, because I think it's just between me and you. Then I would put it at least below Incredibles, above Up. So middle out is right below Up, above Toy Story 1.
How about we just put Coco in there?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll get rid of my MU.
Well, I'm saying is because it's a double S tier vote.
I'd say right below Up. Because Connor said below Toy Story 1, and I said above Up, so it would be right there. And then I'd say Coco S tier.
Okay. I mean, I'm good with that. Are you okay with not having MU?
Well, yeah, like I said, I love Monsters University, but I used my S tier so it wouldn't end up in B, you know?
It wouldn't have, though. It would have been A.
Well, yeah, because I was worried it was going to... So, because I don't think... I love MU, but I don't think it's better than Coco.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I am good with that. Coco's amazing. Coco's another Pixar movie that makes me cry every time.
And it's one of those ones where it's it's solid all the way through.
Dude, these last 5
songs, music, everything.
Well, and I won't spoil it for Hasten, but yeah, the ending with a certain thing that happens makes me cry every time in Coco. Holy crap. So good, dude. And I just love the whole Dia de los Muertos kind of theme and look of it.
The idea of it, awesome.
Yep. So good. One of the best Pixar villains, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. And don't spoil that one either.
No, definitely not. But great overall. Great movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. S tier.
I'd say Hasten, out of all of them, you should watch that one for sure. If you're thinking about what Pixar movie to watch, you got to watch that.
Another movie I remember seeing in theaters with grandma and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And grandma was bawling. Holy crap. Let's move on to the next one.
Is it
Toy Story 4?
Incredibles 2, 2018. Crazy that was 3 years ago. How, dude? Why does time go by so fast?
And I love this movie. Oh my gosh, I love this one. This one I think would be above Incredibles 1 at least.
Whoa,
I do too,
whoa, no!
I actually agree with Tanner.
I don't agree.
I
with that.
love this movie. It's so cool.
Incredibles 2 is an amazing movie. It's A for me for sure, but it would definitely be below Incredibles 1.
Really?
I think Incredibles 1
I liked it better than the original Incredibles.
Even though I think, in my opinion, I actually think story-wise, Incredibles 1 beats it because I like the idea of it. It's superheroes trying to... But just everything about Incredibles 2 is so awesome. It's so awesome, just all the way through.
I just think it falls into the same kind of issue as what we're talking about with the unnecessary sequels. Yeah. I love it. I love it, but it's like we could have done without it, and it would have been fine.
I don't know, because they definitely teased it from the start.
They did tease it. That's true.
With a teaser, like it had to have a sequel eventually.
That's fair, and that is a fair point. Yeah, I guess if you were to ask me which Pixar movie would need a sequel, I guess I would say Incredibles. So, yeah, that's fair. I just think
at this point, I'd be fine with Incredibles having a third.
Let me ask you guys this, because for me, I totally forgot about this until just barely, and not that this is like a marker on its quality or anything, but like, do you guys remember the villain of Incredibles 2?
Yeah, it's the girl. Well, it's a spoiler, but it's the two people that are like trying to get them back as the superheroes.
See,
and then it's the brother and the girl.
I don't remember her name. That. Exactly. That's the thing is like I legit didn't remember that till just barely.
But I don't know if her name's supposed to be one of the ones that you remember. You know,
but that's the thing, it doesn't have like you think about. Cool I'm mostly talking about like comparing Incredibles 1 and 2 here. It's like Incredibles 1 Syndrome. Everyone remembers Syndrome and how he looks.
But
and like
I think because they intended his name to be that kind of like
Syndrome.
Like we remember that. That is Syndrome. Like her name is like Jess or something. You know, like it's not supposed to be like you remember her.
Yeah, I just don't think like her arc and stuff was as interesting as Syndrome's.
I agree. I don't think her arc was as good. Like I said, I think the storyline overall is better in Incredibles 1. But there's so many things that Incredible 2 does right that I've been wanting to see with that universe. Which is so cool.
I do like what they did with the characters and how they had Parr become like the stay-at-home dad kind of thing and then have to deal with the kids. And then Elastigirl going out and being the superhero. Like I think I do like the direction they went with it. I just think I like Incredibles 1 more. I personally would put Incredibles 2 below Toy Story.
No way.
Personally, I think it's an A. I think it's an amazing movie. But
I mean, I guess even
I'm at where it's at right now, personally. So I guess it's up to Tanner wherever he puts it.
Like I said, that's kind of where I'd put it. It's gotta be above up though. It's gotta be above. It can't be below.
I would be fine with it being behind Incredibles.
Okay,
but
that's where I'm fine with putting it there too.
I mean, if you want it above Incredibles, technically you guys would have the outweighing vote. You can put it above
if you think it's better.
But I think I like Incredibles 1 more personally.
I struggle. They're both so good. I don't know. It's hard for me. Nostalgia reasons, Incredibles 1. Shoot, I don't know.
I think
you're the tiebreaker, Tanner.
I'm gonna keep it right here. This is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I like this right here.
Yeah, and here's the thing: when it comes to like sequels like that, they're kind of interchangeable because they're so good. Especially Incredibles 1 and Incredibles 2. I feel like they're both kind of on that same level.
Yeah.
Where I can see them being in the same kind of category.
Yeah, for sure. Like they're kind of interchangeable in a way where they're both equally good in their own way.
Yeah. Cool.
Toy Story 4.
All right, now we're moving on to 2019, where we finally got an unexpected, I'll say, sequel to Toy Story 3.
Very unnecessary.
I didn't think we would get a sequel to Toy Story 3, honestly.
Yeah.
But
I never did either, actually.
Okay, I want to say something about Toy Story 4.
Go for it.
It's a really good movie. I think visually it is beautiful.
It's the best looking Pixar movie in my opinion.
Maybe not
period.
Over Soul. I think Soul actually beats it out.
Oh, true. I guess that. Yeah.
But it is so beautiful. It's awesome to see these characters back. But why? We had the perfect ending to these characters.
So for me, what I'll say about it is I am so glad they made this movie because for me, it was going into it. I was like, why the heck are they doing a Toy Story 4? Why are they doing this? We don't need it. Toy Story 3 had the perfect ending to these characters. We didn't need it. And I ate my words so hard when I saw Toy Story 4 because once again, they made me freaking cry like a baby with that farewell scene between Woody and Buzz. Like, this movie is in the same way with some of these other movies where it's Woody. This movie isn't a Toy Story movie. It's Woody. It's Woody's adventure. It's about what happens to him and where he's going from after where we last saw him. And I love the direction they went with it, where they had Woody say goodbye to his childhood home because the entire movie with him being obsessed with Andy and knowing Andy his whole life, Bonnie wasn't like the connection to him anymore
that he needed. Yeah,
he did need that connection.
It's great character development.
It's
That's what
so
I'll
good
say. For
Woody's character,
for Woody to be so obsessed with Andy for so long, and then for him to have to move on.
Yep,
because he's kind
Woody's
of like
character in Toy Story 4 is like obviously the soul of the movie, and I think it's the best character arc of Woody like throughout the whole Toy Story series. I think his arc in that movie is so good, and seeing him have to say goodbye to that life and then find new life with Bo Peep, I think is so cool, and such a great arc for him to go out into the world without an owner, because his entire life he's only known what it's like to have an owner, right? And for him to say goodbye to that lifestyle and go out on this new adventure with Bo Peep, I think is such a great character moment.
Yeah.
And so for me, that whole character arc justified its existence of Toy Story 4. I don't think it's better than Toy Story 3 necessarily, but for me, it's easily amazing.
I'll say it's easily an A. Like, I have no problem with it. In fact, I do love the movie. My only problem with the movie is, like, once again, I felt it was unnecessary, even though after watching it, yeah, I do think it was needed. But I don't like what they did with Buzz, because like Buzz in Toy Story 2 and 3 is so important with his character development, especially like him finding out his toy and stuff. I feel like he takes such a back seat in this one.
He
like
does.
He almost like they lost half of his character, and he ends up being like an idiot. Like, oh, my inner voice, Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. Oh yeah, like funny. Like, I don't know. Like, that's not Buzz. It felt like
I will say.
Like,
it's the similar thing where with like your argument with Up, where it's like the B story, like Buzz's B story in Toy Story 4, I don't think is that great, but I don't think it takes away from the main course, which is Woody's character. Like, honestly, you could have gotten rid of almost everything else and just focused on Woody's character, which is what the heart and soul of Toy Story 4 is, right? He is like the main driving force of that movie, and Forky kind of represents this new world that he doesn't understand either, of like Bonnie making a toy, or making something she cares about. But for me, I would place it, I like it personally better than Toy Story 1. I would probably put it below Incredibles. That's where I'd put it.
I'd put it below Incredibles 2. I think it's a good movie.
I would put it above Cars.
Wow.
So I'm kind of torn, because if it was mine, I would move MU above Up, and I'd put it right below Up.
Well, you're the middle ground on this, Tanner, so wherever you decide is where it'll go.
Connor, you chose above Incredibles?
But right below Incredibles.
Incredibles 1.
Yeah, so in between 1 and 2.
Okay, and then
I could honestly put it above Incredibles too. I know that's scary, but I could do that if I wanted to.
I will put it below Incredibles 2. So averaged out makes it below Up, right?
Well, I think it's just wherever you would want it to be, because you're middle ground, right?
I guess I want it right here.
And Connor wants it right there.
Connor wants it.
So there's
here
1, 2, 3, 4 movies in between it.
So that's
between the two, so right there. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's
good. Yeah, that's fine. Sweet. Well, let's move on to the next one. We're starting to get into just within the last year since the pandemic. Onward 2020, Disney Plus.
S tier.
I would love Onward as S tier as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's the one I wanted as S tier.
Yeah,
Onward
that's
is
the one
amazing.
I want to vote for S tier.
Both of these. How about this? Can we agree?
That's what I
all
said.
agree on Wally being S tier.
Yeah. Like if we are to
well, here's the thing.
Wally,
Here's the thing, though, Hasten. If you are Hasten, what do you think Onward is?
S tier.
And Tanner, what do you think?
S.
Okay, well then we can put it at.
But wait, because I also think Soul is S tier.
But this is the hard thing, is we only get one between all of us.
And so, like, look, Connor, do you think Wally should be S tier? Wait, because then we can't have Soul.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'll say this. I don't think Soul is S tier. I think it's A.
I'd put it in B, but high B.
I loved Soul. Soul is like S tier for me.
Well, so here's the thing. If we all are in agreement with Onward being S tier, then we can do that.
Okay, yeah, put that there.
Right? So that's our one S tier, though, between all of us.
Because we wouldn't be able to. You guys didn't.
Where at would it be?
I think right
there.
Right
where it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Onward is so good. I think it's
so good.
It's such a bad.
Like I said, there's only one movie that made me cry, and it was Onward.
Yeah.
It was so. Oh, it was so good.
I think it's kind of like an important movie to like all of us too. Like just that kind of that like brotherly family love and connection. Yeah. I don't know. I think it kind of spoke to like me personally that way.
Well, it had Chris Pratt in it.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland. Yeah.
And Tom Holland.
Yeah, the idea we've never had a movie about like brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
I think that's such a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Brother, like, yeah, it's such a cool.
Yeah, it was the first Pixar movie to like focus on the idea of like brotherhood, that family connection, which is something that we all kind of share.
I love medieval.
I'm so glad we all agreed on that because I was like, no, I'm gonna have to move Wally.
Yeah, no, I loved Onward. Onward was great.
Well, and like I said, I love magic and medieval stuff. Like that's my bread and butter. I was so excited when I saw the trailers for Onward, and I'm so glad it panned out to be as good as it was.
Yeah. Well, honestly, no, here's the thing. When I first saw the trailers for Onward, I was like, oh, like this looks like it's going to be one of those weird Pixar movies.
Well, and it got released during COVID.
Yeah, as soon as it happened.
Yeah,
like so literally, it was in theaters.
Did it even go in theaters?
It did.
It was in theaters for a week and a half.
I saw it at my house for the first time. I think we did too. I can't remember how I did it. Maybe I just paid for it, or maybe I just watched it when it came to
Disney Plus.
But it was when I watched it, I was like, "Gosh, I wish I would have seen this in theaters."
I know, dude. For real, I was so upset because it came to theaters. I think March 10th or something like that, and it was literally a week and a half later that lockdown happened, and then they put it on Disney Plus. I think April 9th. Or something because they weren't making any money from it. So,
yeah, that was good.
Super fun. But yeah, fantastic movie. I wish I could have seen it in theaters. It only had a week-long theater lifespan. But I to turn the page a bit and kind of talk about a slight criticism of the movie. I will say, like the whole what was the big scary woman dragon's name?
Manticore.
The Manticore.
She was a little...
Her whole story arc I didn't really care for that much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but besides
I also think like as far as antagonist goes, like it was a little strange that it was just like the curse and there was the dragon. I thought that was a little weak. I think they could have had a cool antagonist, that was like evil. I don't know. They could have done something.
Yeah, I totally even forgot about I didn't even think there wasn't even an antagonist necessarily. I mean, really. Like at least a physical one.
I mean, the antagonist is just the curse. Like
the
MacGuffin of the curse.
So. And didn't it have Bryan Cranston too?
Maybe. I'm not
the dad. I think Bryan Cranston was the dad.
I don't think. Oh.
Does the dad even speak in the movie? I don't think the dad speaks.
In the tapes at the beginning.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Because I think he speaks like a lot at the end of the movie.
No, we don't hear it.
But we don't hear it because we just see we just see Chris Pratt talking to him one-on-one, which is such a great moment. That was such a good way to end the movie. That's such a good
idea to have us not hear it to where it's a conversation between the dad.
Dude, that ending hit me so hard. I was crying so hard.
I freaking love that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and the look of the movie, and I love how Chris Pratt has like the van and like so many great moments.
The theme of it, it's just a cool idea.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we decided Onward. We all voted triple S tier. So our one triple S tier vote between all of us, we got it in. Now we're down to our final two movies, which have both come out within the last year. We had Soul in December of last year, and then Luca, which just barely came out. But let's go to start with Soul, guys. What do you guys think?
Triple S. It disappoints me that it would be anything lower, but I guess it has to be because you guys wouldn't put it there.
Well, in either way, we can only have one triple S tier between all of us. I love Soul. I think Soul's an amazing for me.
Soul, for me, I think it would be right below Inside Out. Like as far as the human experience, But I'd show an alien if they're like, what does a human be like? Soul.
Soul reminds me a lot of Wally in the sense that it's art. Like it is
very
like
artful.
It has that human condition experience that, like you said, if an alien wanted to know it's like being a human, it's like, check this movie out.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think
it puts life in a perspective that's like scary, you know, where you're like, I gotta go for what you want, because like this poor Joel Gardner guy, you know, I don't know, it's such a cool idea.
Then it also shows like the other side of it, which I love, which is just like he didn't have to be
so careful all the time.
Well, and he didn't have to be this grand thing to be important.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I love the scene where it just shows him with the little moments, you know, him looking at the city streets, him with his dad playing the piano,
even just him alone playing the piano in the club.
Yeah,
he's just feeling it, and it's so cool.
That whole sequence was beautiful. And I like the theme of it just being like, you don't have to be this grand thing to be important. Like, just these just the living and having these shared living experiences, that's what matters.
I also love the different character variation, the way they're built. Like, Joe is very like slender. It's almost like they look like cartoons in a human way, because then his barber is like this big square with like the tiniest feet. Kind of reminds me of like Incredibles in that way, where they have like the unrealistic characters where like Mr. Incredible's huge and then he has tiny feet, you know. Like, I actually really like the way they do that. It makes the characters very unique, you know. Yeah. And then even like, as much as when I was first watching it, I hated 22, the soul. I ended up actually really liking her character. I thought it was a really great addition to the movie, you know.
Yeah, I ended up liking her character as well. It reminds me a lot, especially like the parts where they're in the Beyond Heaven or whatever. It reminds me a lot of that video you sent, Tanner, of the story, the Andy Weir short story of what's it called, the egg
theory.
The egg theory, or it's just like this very tranquil kind of like mesmerizing feeling. I loved the shots of when he was going to the Beyond,
Great
like
Beyond, and the music
thing. Yeah,
and the sounds of the souls going into the Great Beyond, almost as if it's like a fly hitting a fly trap, where it's just like zzz, 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 zzz. Like they're just, it's like, oh my gosh, it's terrifying.
Trent Reznor's soundtrack was amazing. He did the Social Network soundtrack, for people that don't know, which is one
and then
of my
to
favorites.
have like the architects, the one that are like controlling the world, they kind of look like wireframe sculptures. They're kind of like abstract art. Like, such a cool idea.
Well, you have the guy with the very strong accent.
It sounds like Taika Waititi.
Yeah, the New Zealand accent.
I never get it wrong.
I don't know. Like I can't even do it. I love that actor. I don't remember his name, but
I wouldn't be surprised if you told me it was Taika Waititi. It literally sounds like him.
Yeah, he does talk just like that. So where are we gonna put it then? If we put it, Hasten, where are you voting?
I would put it right in great above Toy Story 2, but honestly, I'm fine with it going in A, which I know it will be. So,
I mean, I'd say as high as it can go. So, it's up to you.
So Tanner, yours would be above Toy Story 3.
Mine is as high as it can go, which
would be above Toy Story 3. And then Hasten, would yours be at the bottom of A? Like,
I would go here, Nemo? But I'm fine since I know it's going to go. I would put it. I'd put it above Finding Nemo.
Okay. So if Hasten's right there, I would probably put it below Incredibles.
So in between you and Hasten, it'd be like right before Up.
I feel like it should be a little higher.
It should be,
but
should be like there, right there. That looks good.
It's better than Incredibles.
Maybe above
2,
Incredibles 2.
Like, it's better than Incredibles 2.
It's got to be above Incredibles 2. I actually would agree with that.
Well, I think
because that's up to me and you, Connor. Then,
well, I think
true. Yeah,
like, Incredibles 2 is better than the Incredibles. So,
well, if it comes
Connor, we're the
deciding vote. So I say
above Incredibles 2. I'd say right below. Yep, that looks good to me.
Yeah, that's good. All right,
we're on to our last one.
We've come down to the final Pixar movie, which was Luca, which just came out in June. Hasten, you haven't seen it yet, right?
Nope.
Dang. Well, you gotta watch that. I loved Luca. I think it's because like I've always loved the Italian culture, and it's so cool to see it so accurate about Italian culture. Like, it's so awesome.
And well, just the whole look of the world, the setting was really cool.
And I'll admit, like, I think Luca was something that I was not excited for. I was not anticipating. We didn't really know much about it until literally a couple months before it came out. It kind of came out of nowhere. But it's really good. Like,
I will say, this is a quick side note, but I feel bad for Pixar in a way the last year, because I feel like Disney Plus, they've been getting kind of the shaft with not getting the theater experience. I get the pandemic and everything, but it's like Raya and the Last Dragon came out in theaters and on Disney Plus for $30 in March. Why is every Pixar movie only coming to Disney
Not
Plus
even
for
Premier
free?
Access.
Not even Premier Access. Like, I think it's making it seem like they're less than, which in my opinion is the exact opposite. I feel like
they
most
should
of the
be
time they're
cream
more
of
premier.
the crop.
Yeah, but that was just a quick side tangent. I hope they start coming back to theaters soon. But
we don't even know. It's crazy because we've known about most of these Pixar movies for a couple of years now. Do we know what's coming next? I think they just announced the red.
There's the
the red panda.
I don't know.
What's
There's the other.
You know what I'm talking about?
Encanto.
Oh, Encanto, yeah.
Which is November, right?
With it's like Hispanic.
Oh, but is Disney? Is that
and then there's
Pixar or is that just Disney?
Pixar. Oh,
I don't think it is.
Disney.
I think it's just Disney.
Because
I actually don't know.
Pixar's working on the one with the red panda. It's like the girl, she's in school, and the kid's like, "Your mom's outside," and then she looks over and she turns into the giant red panda.
What the heck?
Running. Have you not seen that trailer?
No.
Oh, it's the next Pixar movie.
Weird.
I'm pretty sure it's the next one, if not the one after that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not even familiar with what's next. I gotta.
Dang, how have you not seen that?
I know. I just honestly, when it comes to like Pixar stuff, I mostly try to not watch any sort of trailers or stuff like that until it comes out.
Do you not want to watch it then?
Oh no, you can send it to me. I don't care. I don't, because I literally haven't even seen anything about it. But
it's called Turning Red.
Turning Red. Wow. Yeah. Straight up haven't even heard of it. Crazy.
Send it in the group chat actually.
Well, so for Luca, for me, I'm somewhere between A and great. I think it would probably be last in the amazing category for me.
I don't think it's definitely not a B. I'd put it in A above Nemo, at least.
I don't think it's better than Nemo personally.
I think it's better than Nemo for sure.
So the problem is
I might even put it above. I might even put it like right below Cars.
I think it's going to be one I'm going to like. But
I think I'll put it above Cars, or right below Cars.
So if you put it above Cars, we can split the difference. Well, no.
Nemo.
Wait.
Below Cars. I'd say it's right below Cars.
Because he wants it here.
So then, if I want it below Nemo, we'd split the difference and go in between Nemo and Ratatouille. Yeah.
I think it deserves to be higher than that, though. It was really good. I'm surprised.
It was
I thought you'd think it's.
Oh, I mean, I thought it was amazing. Like, once again, this is where we're getting into like the tough part, because it's like, I think it's an amazing movie, but now we're comparing it to other amazing Pixar movies. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just tough to like figure out the exact placement for it. But I think that's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally think Nemo's. I think I liked Nemo maybe a little more, but they're both amazing. So.
I mean, should we go through what we would change now, if we could? Change something?
So I mean, this is our technical finalized list, and unless there's any changes we want to make on, we can make different voting changes. Or
can we talk about A Bug's Life for real? Like it's not the second worst Pixar movie.
Man,
it's just not.
Like I said, I think I'd move Finding Dory to where Bug's Life is, and I'd put Bug's Life where Finding Dory is.
See, I wouldn't do that.
Except I'd put Finding Dory above Cars 2.
Can we move Bug's Life above Cars 2?
I'm fine with Bug's Life being above Cars 2, personally. I'm good with that.
What about Finding Dory? Finding Dory. It can't be right there.
Where do you want it?
It's got to be at least C.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
It's worse than Bug's Life.
No.
I would be fine
Not
with
for
switching Dory and Bug's Life.
So that's deciding vote, right?
Wait, but Taryn, you think that Bug's Life that is a great movie and should be in the great category?
Well, no. I think Finding Dory should be below Bug's Life, though. But if it takes Bug's Life being in a B, then yeah.
Well, but see, that goes against...
Bug's Life is great.
Bug's Life is good. It is good.
Rewatch it. Asen is like associating it with like...
I've rewatched it more
it's gotta be
recently
the
than
best
you guys.
ever.
Like,
it is good. I like Bug's Life. It's good.
I watched it literally like not even that long ago. Probably a year and a half ago. Like recent enough that it's
I probably haven't
recent.
seen it, to be fair, in years. It's probably been like 3-4 years. But
and watching it is exactly where it should be. It's a good movie. I didn't watch it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. There's so many things I didn't notice as a kid. It's like, no, it's about the same.
I'm not trying to put it in amazing. I just wanted at least it great.
It's not a great movie though.
It's as good as Brave.
No, Brave is good.
Brave's really good. I would put Brave as like maybe.
When's the last time you've seen Brave?
Literally in theaters, and I was like, that was kind of
in theaters 6 years ago.
Yeah, he's like, it wasn't
like 9 years ago. 9 years ago at this point.
Brave has a really good story with Merida and her mom. It's an awesome story. It's very emotional, much like the other Pixar movies. Bug's Life has no emotional connection. You know, feel bad for freaking Flick because he's bullied.
Yes.
So what? He ends up becoming the hero. It's like he's bullied for like 2 seconds in the movie, and he dates the hot chick and the freaking queen.
The hot
aunt.
That aunt is so hot.
I just say, like, he doesn't have as bad as everybody thinks. He's like a cool inventor. He ends up being with the queen and being a dope guy.
Ken, I'm pretty sure you based your whole childhood dreams off of Flick.
I just think that
Terry, you had a Flick costume you'd wear everywhere.
thick Flick costume.
Freaking thick.
I had a thick costume. I don't know, and I still hate that. Cars, it has to be above Bug's Life. I don't know. Like, Bug's Life is good, but Cars 2 is good. It's got some really good emotional.
My vote has to count for something at least. I mean, if we're evening it out, right? And my vote is right
me and Connor
below.
But see, me and Tanner agree it's good. So
right, but if we're averaging it out, I'm high B, and you guys are probably high C.
The only time you average it is if there's 3 different answers.
If it's 3 different answers.
Me and
Otherwise,
Connor
it goes
both
to
agree
the
on the
majority
exact same.
rules. Yeah,
where it is where it should be.
But the thing is, but are we good then with Finding Dory? I'm fine with where it's at.
No, F Finding Dory, dude. I have to rewatch it. I don't know.
Honestly, so I'm looking at the list right now. And I think for me, one thing that kind of sticks out is Toy Story 2 in the great category.
It does seem a little weird. Seems like it should be up.
It is a little weird seeing Toy Story 2. Like looking at the bottom tier Pixar movies. It's true, but like looking at those last 6, right? Good Dinosaur Cars 2,
good as Nemo.
It's like, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm kind of thinking. It's like I feel like it should be the bottom.
And like I said, because my vote was that it was better than Toy Story 1. So in reality, it should, it's definitely as good as Toy Story 1. The fact that we have it 5 movies below it.
4. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would move Toy Story 2 to the bottom of amazing. But I'd move Toy Story 2 right above Finding Nemo. Hasten, what about you? Are you keeping it the same?
I'd be fine with bottom of amazing.
Okay. Do we want to do that then? It is a little weird that we would only have 3 great movies then. It's just like so many amazing.
Well, yeah, because Pixar is amazing though.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. This is looking pretty good.
Are there any others that deserve to be in Triple S? I'm not saying we can move it, but Do we all agree that there's
Monsters Inc.?
The only one I would think is
Toy
Toy Story
Story
3.
Toy Story 3, yeah. Honestly,
Maybe
Toy Story 3, Monsters
two,
Inc., and Incredibles all could be triple S God tier for me.
Honestly, Toy Story 3
From
all the way to Incredibles 2, I could move up.
From here up, I could move all of them up.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I could do it from Incredibles over, but not Incredibles 2. That's not a triple S God tier to me. I mean, I could maybe make the argument for it, but I don't know.
I think we have a pretty good list, actually.
I do too. Like, looking at this list, it's pretty solid. I think
I'm glad that I like the triple S God tiers. I'm pretty happy with. Like, I've never seen Coco, but I'm probably gonna like it. I don't know.
That is a good triple S God tier. Is there any like personal nitpicks that any of you have besides obviously Hasten with Bugs Life and stuff?
Finding Dory is the only one really.
Is there any other ones that you guys look at and you're like, why did we put that right there? Because I don't really have any.
Not really, honestly. I used to be with Up, but now I like where Up is. I think it's at a good spot.
Like Monsters University. I don't see myself liking that, but
that's such a You haven't even seen it. I just don't see myself like.
I don't. But
yeah, Avengers Endgame. I don't see myself liking it.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
I don't like the color purple.
I think you'll like it, Hasten. I don't think you'll love it, but I think you'll like it. I don't think you'll be upset with.
Do you like NCAA college sports teams and Monsters Inc. characters?
It really has. I will say this, Hasten. You like that? What is it? Varsity Blues. What's the college football Netflix show? Something State.
You know Blue Mountain State.
Blue Mountain State. It honestly has that kind of vibe. Like
what
it's really like
I'd say
it's like, really comedic. It's that kind of
college
stuff.
Take
Monsters University.
Take the Monsters Inc. characters and imagine them in college.
In that movie.
It is like a Disney raunchy where Mike and Sully are being like raunchy teenagers. It's freaking hilarious and cool. Like something about it has like that college charm.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm just I
think you're setting
going
yourself
in
up
with
for
low
failure.
Expectations.
That's
Do
stupid.
it. That's good.
You're setting yourself up.
No, he should go in with low expectations because then.
Do you want me to be like, oh no, this is gonna be the best movie ever?
Yeah, because then you'll be like, yeah, I was right.
No, that's how you ruin it.
Yeah.
No.
That's what happens with that's what happens with all types of
go in with low expectations and I bet you
okay.
That's true. I'm not wrong about this.
No.
Well, no, yeah, he has a point because like if he went in with like a super high expectation.
Sorry, if you go in with a bad attitude, you're gonna be
okay. Attitude's different. But attitude's different. I'm talking
the way Hazen's talking is like it's a bad attitude.
It's because I hated the trailer so much. I was like, this is terrible.
What trailer?
I remember specifically watching a Monster University trailer, and I was like, "This looks like the worst thing."
You mean the one where it's super cool, and they're like, "I'm Sully, I'm Mike," and then they're shaking hands, they're playing football with a freaking pig? Oh yeah, that sounds awful.
I will say this real fast. I will say it is an interesting choice, no matter how you slice it, that they decided to do a prequel for Monsters Inc. With it
was the best decision.
It's awesome. No, I'm so glad they did it. I love Monsters University. I'm just saying, like. It wouldn't have been my first like thought for like what's the sequel? What's the sequel of Monsters Inc. going to be? Oh no, it's actually a prequel.
It's a great idea. Show them how they met, and why they are the way they are.
There is a slight plot hole, though. I will say after watching Monsters Inc. again recently.
Really?
There's at the beginning of Monsters Inc. Mike says, and a lot of people, I looked it up, a lot of people take it as he was just joking, but at the very beginning, Mike's like, you've been pulling my chain since the fourth grade, man, or something like that as a joke. And it's like, oh no, they didn't meet in the fourth grade, they met in college. So that doesn't make any sense. It's a plot hole.
Oh, okay.
It's super minor, and I guess some people have said that in Monsters University, there's actually a line where they cover that up, where it's like he says something like, "Oh, like we sat next to each other in the fourth grade," or something like that. And that they didn't know each other though. But yeah, kind of a slight plot hole, but oh well, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't ruin the experience.
No, not at all. Yeah, I like this list.
They didn't meet in the fourth grade. Unwatchable.
D tier.
I'm a Monsters Inc. fanboy, and it has to line up perfectly with the Monsters Inc. canon.
Quick side note: have you guys watched Monsters at Work at all on Disney Plus?
I watched episode 1.
No,
it's not that great. I will say, like, the first episode's pretty okay. It's good, but I'm up to date on the episodes as of now because I just love Monsters Inc. But it's not really obviously up to like the movie quality. It's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't expect anything more though. I mean, kids are gonna watch it because it's an animated show.
Yeah, you can tell. That's the thing. You can tell it's for kids, like 100%. And that's the thing.
It's not even necessarily that they wanted to do that, but they kind of had to because Disney
Make
Plus,
kids content.
There's kids on it. They're gonna see animated, and they're gonna be like,
well, yeah, Disney Plus has become like the new animated show, or like it's the new Disney Channel for kids, right? Like now they just have Disney Plus, and so they need shows on there kids can watch.
To the point where they don't even have.
I just wish there was more like adult stuff in it, like how the movies have as well.
The weird thing is that's what Hulu is. Like I was watching, I can't remember what I was watching earlier today, but it was something from Fox, and I was like, oh, this is something that would be cool if it was on Disney, but it's not because it's rated R.
Right,
it's on Hulu. Disney. So
I just really want a rated R Monsters Inc.
That'd be freaking hilarious.
No, I'm just more so like
freaking Mike and Celia going at
I just want more like emotion in terms of like I thought like a cool idea would be something like similar to Toy Story 4 with Monsters Inc. Like have Sully figure out like and realize like, oh, now that Monsters Inc. is about laughing, that's not really my thing. I'm gonna kind of go do my own thing now. And then it's a kind of about Sully leaving Monsters Inc.
Yeah,
leaving Mike behind. Like,
I thought that'd
be a cool like emotional story.
I think I do like the idea though that not everybody is okay with it switching to laughter. Because like I was gonna say,
that is
weird that everyone was just like, yep, laughter.
Sweet.
Even though they've been training their whole life to be a scarer, it's like,
Well, that's the thing. Is like that initial episode, that first episode, was like, oh dang, this is a really cool idea, like a really cool premise for the show. But as you get later in, like I think there's 4 episodes now, episode 2, 3, and 4. It's like they kind of just not worry about that anymore.
I'll have to catch up.
Literally, like this latest episode was about like a bowling tournament that had nothing to do with anything else going on. So hopefully you can tell it's made for kids.
Yeah, hopefully it kind of switches gears. I mean, sometimes first seasons of shows don't do that well. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Their stride,
and it could pick up. Like, who knows? I could be eating my words by the end of the season, and they could totally hit those emotional levels by the last couple episodes. I don't know, but just where it's at right now, I was just venting my thoughts on it. But yeah, do you guys have anything else left to say about this this Pixar tier time list?
It's a shame Bugs Life is so low.
F you, Bugs Life.
You belong right there, Bugs Life. It's where you belong.
It's the one.
It's tough to be a bug.
It's the one thing to me that I'm just like I can't live with this.
Where would you realistically put it? Like no joke, no meme.
Highest B.
That's insane.
For sure, highest B.
That's insane. List.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
I could at most barely put it in B, and I'd be like, ugh.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's a good movie. Like
I do not.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It was great. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the sequel.
Yeah, like it was a good movie. I liked it. Anyway, I think that wraps us up here at.
So salty. He's like.
That wraps us up here for this episode of the Super Basement Bro Show. Thank you for watching our Pixar review.
I have to say something. You don't know how bad Bugs Life is, Hasten. To look at your background. Where's Flick? He's not even there.
He's right in the middle somehow. That'd be hilarious.
Is he?
There's 2. There's one right here, and there's one right. Oh wait, yeah. Next to the X, or right above Lightning McQueen, and then on top of the A is Flick.
Take us full screen. I can't see you. Or like, stop sharing.
Oh yeah, make us.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Oh wow, yeah, Flick is in there.
Right there, and there.
Hey, my words.
Well,
Tanner, where's the guy from Soul? Huh?
That was made like years before.
Huh?
Those were made years before they.
Where's someone from Inside Out? I don't see them.
That was definitely made like 2012.
Yeah, it was
something like that. Yeah,
it was like before Brave even came out.
Yeah. Anyway, that wraps us up here for another episode of the Super Basement Bro Show. We thank you guys for watching, and make sure let us know in the comments if you're actually watching what your favorite Pixar movie is and was, and give us a list. We'd love to see it.
We do it every time. There has to be a way we can
500
actually watching
502.
500. But that was one of the other ones. Say Bugs Life sucks.
We thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.